What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back here again with another video. So, Ariel Helwani has did a recent, I guess you could say, episode interviewing Paul Heyman, and there's a part of the episode that I actually wanted to check out. I don't want to check out the full thing. I'll link down the original video so that way you guys can check out the full interview in its entirety. But there is a part where he talks about Brock Lesnar coming back and the backlash that he's received since coming back. And obviously, if anyone knows Brock Lesnar, it would be Paul Heyman. So I wanted to check out this part of the interview. Appreciate all the love and support you guys have shown on the channel. I definitely want to see what Paul Heyman has to say about all of this. And let's get right into it, man.
Did he need a deal to come back? What do you mean by?
Hold on, let me.
That happened real quick.
Really?
Yeah, that happened.
Like what's real quick? Week, 2.
Hold on.
To add mystique and intrigue, we have to be very careful 24/7, 365.
It was brilliant.
And that's fine. Yeah, I liked it.
Brock Lesnar. How long has that been in the works for?
That happened real quick.
Really?
Yeah, that happened.
Like what's real quick? Week, 2 weeks?
A couple weeks.
Okay.
I mean, at least to my knowledge, I got tagged into it after the deal was done.
Okay. And when you say deal, like, did he need a deal to come back? What do you mean by deals?
Well, he wasn't coming back on speculation.
No,
he is Brock Lesnar.
No. What I mean by that is, like, did he have to sign a new contract, or was he still? Because we hadn't seen him for 2 years.
Oh,
but,
I'm sure there's a new deal involved.
Okay. And obviously, this has been met with some criticism, right? There's still this ongoing.
Everything in life is met with criticism. I don't pay attention to that.
Is the criticism fair?
Nah, I don't pay attention to it. He's here. See, that's a reality of the fact. He's here. And if you were in MetLife Stadium on Sunday, you would understand that return meant a lot to that audience. That audience was jacked to see Brock Lesnar come out.
And that's the thing, bro. Whether we want to agree with him coming back or not, if you heard that reaction, like there's a few people that I know that was there live when it happened. That reaction was insane. You would have thought that Brock was never involved in any legal situations at all. And this is why I want to put this out there to people that are so surprised by this or disgusted by the huge pop that he got. I want you to understand, at the end of the day, there are going to be a large group of people, especially if they have a large fan base, that will stick with an individual no matter what they do, no matter what crimes they do, no matter how they talk to people in the past, no matter their actions. There's going to be some people that will never get canceled to their core fan base. Simple as that. I hate to say that. I mean, you have murderers out there, serial killers out there that got, love and adulation from supporters when they got locked up. We've seen that so many times. So if a murderer who, granted is in jail or whatever the case may be, doing some heinous evil stuff, can get some support, you think someone that didn't do anything as serious as murdering someone as big as a celebrity or a box office attraction like Brock Lesnar is not going to get loved? Like, that's just the real world. People will put aside anything just to support other people. And that's where you got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that, supporting other human beings that, are, have done some questionable things. Because at the end of the day, we're all human and we all mess up. So, not surprised by this.
And to see him F5 John Cena. Nobody left MetLife Stadium going, oh, God, they brought back Brock. People were just going nuts. That's our paying audience. They're happy to see him. I'm happy to be part of a team that presents him. Everyone has criticism in life.
And did you hear what he said? That's our paying audience. That is all that WWE and TKO cares about. I want y'all to get this through y'all heads. Y'all have the right to complain and say whatever you want to. But the only thing that makes any real change is actual action. You not watching the shows, you not going to the shows, you not buying the tickets, you're not buying the merchandise. That's where it hits them. Until that happens, it sounds good to talk about it. Cool. Give your opinions. Cool. Step away from the product. Cool. But the show going to keep going on regardless, whether anyone agrees with it or not. Money talks more than anything else. And they keep getting a lot of money, so they're going to keep doing whatever they can get away with. That's just what it is.
There are people that criticize Jesus. There are people that criticize Moses. There are people that criticize Muhammad. There are people that criticize God or gods. There is no president that has ever existed with a 100% approval rating. Or there's no president that's ever existed that someone hasn't pointed to and say, that president sucked. There are people who to this day think Abraham Lincoln sucked. They're wrong, but they think it. There are people who thought FDR sucked. They're wrong, but they think it. Bill Clinton doesn't have a 100% approval rating. Donald Trump doesn't have a 100% approval rating. Nobody does.
Nobody.
There's always going to be critics of anything that we do. And very few people ever make it to the top in life without either making mistakes or having skeletons in their closet. Obviously, the decision was made. It's time to bring back Brock Lesnar. Whatever that decision is based on, I respect it. If they're critics of it, get over it. He's here. And he's going to be here. And you ain't going to be able to cancel him.
Nope.
And I'm happy to have him back because the audience is happy to have him back. If we brought him back and the audience rebelled against it, I wouldn't be happy to have him back. I'd be like, oh, man, this doesn't work. But it works. So I'm happy about it.
Were you expecting at some point to see him back? Or were you surprised when you got the word, this is going to happen?
I'm
Oh, you have to think about this one.
I didn't know if he was ever willing. You know, because he came to a point where he was very accepting of, this is my life now. I am going to raise my daughter to be an NCAA Division I champion, and she is. I'm going to raise my sons to be the best hockey players that anybody's ever seen, and they are well on their way to being that. I'm going to be a devoted husband to my wife. I'm going to enjoy the time that I have on this planet, and he was accepting of that. Here's his future and what his future was. He was in a very good place, and that's when usually someone throws you a curveball and says, "Hey, you want to completely change your life now?" Oh my God! You know, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. I think I was more surprised when he actually went back in 2012. I think I was more surprised when I went back in 2012. I think I was more surprised when CM Punk came back. Because with Brock, the bridge was never burned. He never badmouthed, or he never gave an interview.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is just so Brock Lesnar.
Right.
But he never badmouthed the company. Company never badmouthed him.
Yeah, bro. I've been saying this. And whenever things died down or whatever, they came to some resolution, he was definitely going to be back. Because both sides just said, all right, well, it's hot right now. You kind of got to go. It's not because we don't want you here. Because they had plans for him at the Royal Rumble that year. But it's like, you're nuclear right now. Your name is involved. You got to go. It's as simple as that. Don't you, man, I want y'all to really understand. If everything didn't go down with the whole Janelle Grant situation, Vince would have been back. If that never came to light, Vince would have been back. That's what I want y'all to understand. A lot of things happen because they're not shown in the light. How many people do you think that you've supported, you look up to, they're your favorite wrestler, favorite entertainer, favorite singer, and if you only knew what they had in the shadows, what they had in their closet, what skeletons that they had, if you only knew, would you still support them? This is why you shouldn't idolize individuals to the point where you look at them as being gods or perfect. We all fall short in God's eye. You feel me? Well, none of us is perfect. So that's just a thing where it's like, if no side badmouth each other, it was only a matter of time. It just depended on when they were going to bring them back, and they decided it at SummerSlam.
The situation is what the situation is, but I could never write it off. I just thought too much time will pass, and he's just going to be off doing whatever he wants to do in life. And when the door opens, he'll just sit there and say, eh. But the timing of this, with Cena still, here and doing his retirement tour, with us being on Netflix now, with us going on to ESPN streaming, is there a more legitimate athlete on the face of the planet?
Yep, business move, bro.
Than the modern day Jim Thorpe, Brock Lesnar? And then you have to think of the fact that what's TKO's two major holdings? UFC and WWE.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's ever walked those two paths at that level? There's only two people that's ever been a champion in UFC and in WWE and meant something and main evented WrestleMania. Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
And I love Ronda to death, but Brock did it longer than Ronda over multiple decades. And look at what he's meant in WWE. So if there's one person that can be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame and the WWE Hall of Fame on the very same night, and both audiences will sit there and say, he absolutely deserves it, there's only one person that walks that line, Brock Lesnar. So the fact that we're owned by TKO, and they brought back the man that beat Randy Couture, the greatest heavyweight champion of all time, and didn't just beat him, Brock didn't wrestle him, Brock beat him standing up. Brock knocked out Randy Couture. I'd say that says something about Brock Lesnar, the UFC fighter, and his accomplishments in WWE go from conquering The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania to all of his WWE and Universal Heavyweight title runs, to the money that he drew, and to the fact that he was part of the greatest promos in the history of the business, simply standing next to his advocate, Paul Heyman.
And so his,
Paul, one thing he gonna do, he gonna give all type of glaze to Brock Lesnar, man. I mean, it's his guy. It made sense. He's not gonna throw his guy under the bus. I mean, and he made some valid points, whether people agree or not. At the end of the day, it's TKO, it's WWE, money is being made. They wanted him to come back. I'm sure they have been talking about it and planning it. They finally found the right time. I'm sure they probably threw the right money at him. Boom, there we go. Came out there, crowd went insane. Whether we agree or disagree on that, that's just the reality of the situation, bro. I'm going to always say this because this is always going to be true in anything that you do in life, especially when it comes to corporations. Money will supersede everything. Values, health, love, all those things that you're supposed to care about, money will always supersede it. So you got to figure out how to maneuver and how to keep yourself, in a light that you want to present yourself in. Do you want to be corrupted by the money, or do you want to have morals? You gotta make that decision, So it is what it is, We're gonna see what happens going forward. I think John Cena's supposed to talk about what happened at SummerSlam. We'll see when they're supposed to be setting up this match, and then we'll go from there. Once again, I don't think Brock is going to be here long. I think he's going to be here maybe to the Royal Rumble WrestleMania season. They may put the whole Brock and Gunther situation for next year. I can definitely see that being a thing. Brock versus Gunther. Hell, I can see him retiring at next year's WrestleMania, honestly. Gunther being the one to retire him, call it a day, and we move on to other things. But hey, comment down below. Let me know, did you guys get a chance to check out this entire interview? If you did, what you guys think about it? I'm going to go check it out off camera. Appreciate all love, support. Road to 150K. Appreciate y'all kicking to me. See you on the next one. Peace.
Meron na akong 20k Dayas pero dahil sa laki ng discount at bilis ng transaction, kaya bibili pa rin ako sa CocoDP. I-click natin yung link sa pinned comment, tapos piliin ang Mobile Legends, tapos ilagay natin yung user ID at zone ID, then piliin natin yung 625 plus 81 diamonds. At dahil discounted siya, kaya 595 lang ibabayad natin. Once na matapos natin yung payment process, diretso na agad yung diamond sa account natin. At dahil nga marami akong diamonds, kaya kayo naman ang bibiyayaan ko.
Dulcolax restores your natural gut rhythm for predictable constipation relief.
I've been doing this job for a very long time now.
Today's 15 years later, life is much different.
Would you have been at peace if you never came back?
Sure.
You would have been okay with that?
Yeah, I would have done other things. I was on a journey to do other things at the time.
Like what? Looking for Larry? Marketing stuff?
Well, you know, it's funny. And I don't know if they have the clip yet. I'm sure you'll. Do you have like any?
I got nothing. I just.
Are they?
They're here. What do you want me to talk to the guys? I actually unplugged it because I just wanted to be fully locked in on you. You gave them something?
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you mentioned. You know, I co-founded an agency in New York City.
Yes.
With Looking for Larry agency, and when you came to the offices, you were probably at our offices more than I was, because I think I went twice in the entire 7 years that we had it out in Long Island City, which is like the new Burbank, you know, here. And we switched out of there, and we're partnering now with MCM Studios here in New York, which is a huge studios. They do all sorts of movie post-production. It's where Hot Ones, you know, the thing with the spicy food and get sick in front of everybody and make a fool of yourself. They film Hot Ones there. It's like a really innovative, progressive place. And I deserve no credit for it. Mitchell Stewart, my production partner, put the deal together. And today was my first day that I got to see our new studio offices. So I brought my son, you know.
Jacob, the legend.
Hopefully.
Yes,
you know,
legend in the making.
It's just so, because someone's going to have to support me in my old age, because I plan on spending everything before I get there. Or in case you haven't heard, I'm really no good with money. So we went there, and it just blew me away. I actually can honestly brag. I think we have the most cutting edge AI that is available in the marketplace today.
Really?
Yeah. And
to be used for what?
Movies, commercials, viral content. We have it. We can do it. We can produce it. We can post-produce it. We can manufacture it. We can make it happen. Just as an offering, as an agency, as a firm, as a production house, as a post-production house, we have the capability of doing AI better than anybody else out there today.
Wow.
And again, I deserve no credit for this. I'm literally walking in the doors today going, whoa, this is us? This is ours?
Yeah.
Whoa. You know, so could not believe it.
How many people work for Looking for Larry now?
Well, because of this partnership now,
Oh, wow.
I would dare say we're now at about 30 people.
Looking
Yeah, you know,
That's incredible.
Again, I'm going to I'll put all false humility aside. It's pretty overwhelming. You know, just Mitchell Stewart and my son has started working and making suggestions about the agency, and this was the move. This was really the move to make, and just into getting an AI, getting ahead of the curve instead of trying to catch up to everybody else, bringing a studio back to Midtown Manhattan, getting involved in the movie business, you know, and that. So what would I have done if I didn't come back in 2012? I would have concentrated on the agency, which I was doing then. Back then, you know, we were doing EA Sports.
Yep.
We did the EA Sports, the campaign for the EA Sports MMA game with Nick Diaz and Kung Lee and Fabrizio Verdum.
Cyborg, maybe? Was she in it?
No, I wanted to do a whole thing about Cyborg being the best pound for pound fighter in MMA because no one had ever named a female as the best pound for pound fighter, and I thought that would be real innovative, different commercial, catch people's attention. We did Verdum, we did Nick, Gilbert Melendez.
Right.
You know, so we were rolling in that, but I probably would have within another year or two, I would have written, produced, directed my first movie. I was getting into that. I have some scripts in my desk that we're just brushing off now, and I'm rewriting that.
Oh, wow.
Dip into that opportunity as well, especially now that we're on Netflix and we have so much attention on us. But what would I have done? Probably that, you know, and who knows what else I would have done. I mean, if the New York Yankees weren't smart enough to hire me after I was here in 2010 and as an oracle predicted their future, you know, I had the prophecy of where the Yankees were going long before Brian Cashman did.
Clearly.
And so, you know, if they weren't smart enough, if they would not have been smart enough to offer me a job, then, you know, I don't know, maybe gone to the Mets or something. I would have been involved. I mean, I would have been involved somehow in New York, and then I would have been involved somehow on a global basis and stuff like films or feeding, you know, content to streaming services or creating television shows and stuff like that.
But I'd say it's all worked out.
I have absolutely no complaints.
Yes.
I'm home. You know, it became home again.
When did it become home?
I have to say they made me feel very welcome my first day back in.
Wow.
You know, it was. I was real cautious walking back in the door. I was like, oh, how's this going to work out? Because it always ended up volatile on my way out the door, and it hasn't been since 2012. You know, it just. I was welcomed back with open arms, and I've been made to feel at home since. I have really no complaints about it.
So what's interesting to me is obviously we have known over the years that you've worked on the creative side. Sometimes you weren't on TV, sometimes you were on TV. But you know, I had the great pleasure, and I hope you don't mind me talking about this.
No, go ahead.
That weekend in Montreal, Elimination Chamber, I believe it was 2023.
Yeah.
I still say to this day, it's one of the best weekends of my life. It was. I got to live out a fantasy. I got to see what was really going on behind the scenes, and to me, the best part was you. The way you treated me, the way you just said, like, stick with me, kid, and watch. It was a dream. It was getting to watch a brilliant human being, Picasso, whatever you want to say, at work, and just to see all the things you were doing. Like, we see you for 20 minutes on TV or whatever, great, but to see how involved you were in so many things that I guess we would never know have anything to do with you was so fascinating to me. And so at this juncture, how involved are you with everything that doesn't really have to do with you, so to speak? Do you know what I mean? Like, the on-air stuff is the on-air stuff, but I could see, maybe you're not an official creative team member, but like, you are doing so much back there. You're not just a talent showing up, clocking in and clocking out.
I'm the old guy now. And you know, when Roman Reigns bestowed the name the Wise Man on me, number one, that was a real tribute to had a lot on the serial coach, and they went through wise these, and no one could get here. Not Jimmy Hart, not Humperdinck, not Gary Hart, nobody could get into WWE. But one of these, so only ways for them. That was a great honor inside of the business, and in terms of behind the scenes, it's a name I took seriously because a lot of people will come to me because I'm old now, because I survived so many regimes. I worked for 6 senior as a photographer. And so this is now the third or fourth generation of a regime in this company that I've worked for in one capacity or another. So how much do I involve? You know the old expression, I serve at the pleasure of the and in my case it'll be I serve at the pleasure of the chief officer, Polek. As much or as little as I'm needed on a particular day. There are some days I'm not needed that much. Everything's there, everything's in place, and everybody has what they're going to do, and they know it in their head, and they don't need a lot of help. And there are other days where a lot of talent, a lot of direction, a lot of motivation, or a lot of inspiration, or a lot of understanding about their performance. Whether it is understanding what's on a script or understanding that it's only on a script as a placeholder, and it's not what you say, but how you say it, because it's far less scripted now. Word for word. In fact, it's not scripted word for word. The words are there, but it's all about what are we selling? What's the emotion involved? So that's what I'm there to teach the young talent. And Braun Breaker and I are on camera together because I was working so closely with him behind the scenes. Because I truly believe that's the future of our company. That's a guaranteed WrestleMania main eventer multiple times in the future. Jacob Fatu, a guaranteed WrestleMania main eventer multiple times in the future. I can say the same thing, Rhea Ripley, a guaranteed WrestleMania main eventer multiple times in the future if we find the right story and the right opponent for her in that capacity. And these are people I love working with. And I get to work with everybody else, too. If anybody comes up to me, I don't turn them down. I'm happy to work with the talent. I'm happy to work with talent that sits there and you see their eyes open for the first time, realizing I don't have to say these exact words. I can put this in my own words. It's all about the emotion that I convey and the connection that I can make with the audience.
Is there a group now that you consistently work with?
Well, certainly Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed.
Sure.
There's not a lot that I need to teach Seth Rollins. We just get to collaborate far closer than we ever have in the past. There's a lot to learn from Seth Rollins as well. The entire roster.
Okay. So anyone could just come up to you and say like,
absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, there's no one there's no one that I'm going to look at and say, I'm sorry, I have no time for you. I'll make time for them.
Do they take advantage of this?
Of course they do.
Okay. They are smart enough, the younger ones.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I'm the old guy.
I know, but maybe, with being the old guy and with being a young person, sometimes you don't recognize who you have at your disposal.
Well, I'm still on TV in a very high position, and they sit there and go, how can I get that spot?
Okay.
So for nothing else, they want to talk to me to understand how to get in with us and run a program with us or a storyline with us. so that, okay, well, all of a sudden now they're working with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and doing promos with Paul Heyman.
I didn't want to give feedback, but sometimes like your meetings, the creative meetings.
Not all of them.
So how does that work? Because the into you.
Yeah, long-term meetings I'm in.
Okay.
So I'm talking about next year, WrestleMania, or that's WrestleMania, or next year's Royal Nation Chamber, or this year's Survivor Series. When we start planning things out, I go to those meetings.
Okay.
I don't. I'm not exposed to the weekly grind. Like the other writers who deserve a ton of credit. they're exposed to that weekly grind. I'm not exposed to that.
You don't want that.
No,
Okay.
no.
By the way, you mentioned next year's WrestleMania, the year after. Are we really talking 2-3 years down the line?
With me, you are.
In these meetings, are there meetings about 2-3 years down the line?
If I'm in the meetings, it's going to be a subject. I'm going to bring it up.
Wow.
Let's look at this, on a strictly business level. You couldn't pull me away from Roman Reigns' coattails unless you showed me the future of this industry. You couldn't. Why would I ever leave Roman Reigns? Ever. The GOAT. The most transformative performer I have ever worked with in my life, and it's not just limited to this industry. I credit the tribal chief character as not only being the most ruthless character on television, and this is during an age when Tom Hardy was still playing Alfie Solomons on Peaky Blinders, and we still had Better Call Saul, when we started the character of the tribal chief. Joe Anawai's portrayal of the tribal chief Roman Reigns was the most compelling villain on television and the most ruthless character I've seen to this day. And the fact, and we've discussed this before, that the Emmy Awards do not recognize these performances is a blight upon the Emmy Awards. They should be ashamed of themselves for ripping off their audience by not acknowledging, all puns intended, our body of work. Roman Reigns came back in August 2020, got put with Brock Lesnar's advocate. I became the special counsel to the tribal chief and later just known as the Wise Man. And it was on the back of Roman Reigns that WWE got lifted out of the pandemic era. What was the stock when Roman Reigns came back in August 20? What is it today? $170, $167, $170, $175. What was it back then in the 70s, in the 80s? The merger happened. Well, why did we merge with UFC? Why did TKO take over? Why did Netflix give WWE/TKO $5 billion rights fees? Who lifted us out of the doldrums of the pandemic? The tribal chief Roman Reigns, and behind the scenes Joe Anoa'i. This is not some shtick that I say on Monday Night Raw. This is legitimate analytics and metrics. You take a look at what he accomplished with the portrayal of that character, and all of us around him, and all of the opponents that he got to work with and make bigger stars out of. So when it came time that, okay, we need to do something new, we need to do something different, we need to position him, we need to tell another story here, because we've told the championship story, and now we've told the story of what happens when he loses the title. Now where do we go? I don't care if you had a chainsaw. You weren't going to get me. You weren't going to get me away from him. Let me work with Seth Rollins, who is going to be the most personal opponent, even more so than Roman Reigns' family. The most personal opponent to the tribal chief Roman Reigns is going to be this more than a decade-long story with Seth Rollins, who he debuted with in The Shield. Now Seth Rollins has Roman Reigns as Wise Man, the same way Roman Reigns had Brock Lesnar's advocate. And we have Braun Breaker, who to me is the undisputed, uncontroverted future of WWE, a multi-time WrestleMania main eventer coming up, let alone Bronson Reed, whose game has elevated like this beyond description to where now everybody is talking about the tribal thief and his Shula Fala. And you give me a chance to work with these people, and we're against Roman Reigns? Okay, why? Well, because now I can sit here and say, what's the main event of WrestleMania in 2026? What's the main event of WrestleMania in 2027? What's the main event of WrestleMania in 2028? And how do we get there? And how do we start telling those stories now? And what are the little hints that we can drop now? What are the little things that we can say now? What are the little devices that we can use now? What are the scenes that we can play out now? that we keep on going layer upon layer upon layer upon layer in these deep storylines that then come to fruition at next year's Mania, that leads to the next year's Mania, that leads to the next year's Mania. So if I'm sitting in a meeting and we say, okay, where are we going for next year's Mania? Well, we're going 3 Manias from now, because this Mania is just the pathway to the next year's Mania, which is the pathway to the next year's Mania. Long-term storylines is where it is. It's the same reason why, and this was discussed on Unreal, and this was discussed ad nauseum by a lot of other people. Same reason why it wasn't time for Cody to become champion. We discussed this. In Los Angeles. It wasn't time for Cody to become champion. There was another WrestleMania main event coming out of that. There was another year of that story to be told. And so it's never just about, let's get to this Mania. If I'm in a meeting, I want to talk about 3 Manias from now, and then let's tell the story backwards.
In the old regime, specifically the Vince McMahon era, was this happening, or is this a byproduct of the new regime? Because it does seem there's a lot of the bunch like for years seeds being that didn't feel like a product. Is this a sign of the new times?
It's just it's not only because of regime change, because there are different demands now. There are different demands on our. We have a much different network license. We have a much different, as exposed today, not exposed today, a premium. Live event deal and a streaming service. It's a sign of the times. You know, it's the old expression is the only constant is change. So back then under Vince McMahon, if we could get the conversation to what's the main event and what's the support in next year's Mania, that's a great long-term meeting. Today, we can sit here, and again, a lot of this has to do with what we did with the bloodline and the creation of the tribal chief Roman Reigns, that we can sit here and say, well, what are we doing 3 years from now? Because that's how we looked at it. We knew when we hit with the bloodline, wow, let's plan this out. Let's see how we can max this. And again, let's always get out at 11:59, not at 12:01. Now, okay, you don't want to do the old Arthur Fonzarelli jumps the shark. For those of you at home watching, I know most of you watching don't even know what I'm talking about with Arthur Fonzarelli. Google it, bitches. I'm not here to educate you. But it's so long-term planning now. It's not only a regime that is open to it or more open to it. It's also, to me, the reality of the industry today, in that you can plan out 3-5 years down the road. It wasn't that way before, and now also there's longer term contracts. We're signing people for 3 to 5 years. Before, that wasn't always the case. It was only the top stars that were getting 5-year deals.
What did you think of Unreal?
It's a reality of the industry today that I have to accept.
What do you mean by that?
I grew up in this business at a time when if you're in a bar and someone walks up to you and says, "Oh, you're in that fake wrestling business." Notice the Southern accent when I say that.
Yeah.
No offense to all the people from the South, but if you don't swing, if you don't defend the business, and someone else sees it or finds out about it, you're catching an ass kicking and you're getting shipped out of the territory. That's the way it was back then. All these stories you hear of, legendary bar fights of guys like Haku ripping people's eyeballs out. Show me how fake this is now, brother. That's how we were taught to defend the business, and we caught the ass kickings if we didn't defend the business. So that's where I grew up. So to now be in a situation where it's so open, to where it's not just, this is how the magic is done, but we're going to show you the wires, and we're going to show you the crew that inserts the wires, and we're going to show you the writing team meeting in which we discuss the wires to do the magic trick. Whew, that's an adjustment for me. And it's an adjustment that I have to make and accept, because if I take the tactic of, wow, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to being so open and transparent about the inner workings and the secrecy. It's still, for so long, it was a secret society. It was a closed business. But then again, today, Sammy Gravano does a podcast. Michael Franzese does a podcast. John Alight does a podcast. All these gangsters sitting there going, yeah, so we know, we clipped Mario, and Rocco came in the room and we had to clip Rocco. I liked Rocco. Yeah, I liked Rocco too. Too bad we had to kill him. Yeah, and he was my brother-in-law, you know? So, all these gangsters are revealing what it is. So it's a far more open and transparent society, or at least we think it is. And I have to accept Unreal as part of the platform by which WWE is Disneyfied and picks up a streaming deal on ESPN. The way I look at it is this. I'm always going to be like this when I see a camera behind the scenes, because I'm still not used to it. And I'm going to have to get used to it, because the train is leaving the station. And I want to be part of if not the conductor, I want to be one of the conductors, or one of the top advisors to the conductors as to where that train is going. It reminds me of a lot of music artists. If you go to Bruce Springsteen, or Mick Jagger, or Steven Tyler, any music act that has been around for years and decades and years and decades, and is still able to sell out stadiums, and you ask them, on what platform do you think your music sounds the best? To the man or the woman, Madonna, whomever, will tell you, vinyl. Vinyl. Every musician will tell you their music sounds best on vinyl. Nobody does vinyl anymore. Nobody. So, since no one does vinyl, if you sit there and go, oh, well, I don't want to do my music if it's not on vinyl, then you're not going to make any money in the music business. If I don't want to be one of these people that says this phrase, back in my day, I want this to be my day. I want next year's WrestleMania to be my day. I want tomorrow to be my day. I want 3 WrestleManias from now to be my day. That's why I latched on to Braun Breaker, because he's the future of WrestleMania. Oh, I want to be attached to his hip. Why? Because I don't want it to be back in my day when I main evented with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and CM Punk. I want years from now to also be my day. Part of this being my day is accepting Unreal for what it is. It's not an expose of our business. It's letting people in to see the passion, to see the planning, to see the meticulous work that goes into, to see the debates that go into, the decisions that are made for an industry that so many people think is one-dimensional, and it's not. It's not. As many debates as there may have been, this is a dated reference again because I'm old, what do we do in the final scenes of The Sopranos? Do we kill him? Does he live? Does he get out of the mob? Does he get arrested? Do we just not tell anybody anything and just go dark like that? And I would love to see that room. I would pay to see the debate that went on for the final scene of The Sopranos, or the final scene of Seinfeld, or any of these culturally significant shows. We're now showing you the debate that goes on. Who's going to win the Rumble? Who's going to go on to Mania in the main event? Is it Punk? Is it Jey Uso? Should Gunther be the champion at that time? What's at stake with Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk? Is it really a battle to see where Heyman goes? Is that character still relevant enough on the island of relevancy that he means enough for that to be what's at stake in that match? What's at stake in Charlotte's match? What's at stake in Alexa Bliss's match? What's at stake in Rhea Ripley's match, or Jade Cargill's match, or Liv Morgan's match, or Dominic Mysterio's match? Who do we elevate on this WrestleMania? What is your takeaway from day one? This is my takeaway. Ooh, I don't know. I think this is my takeaway from day. I have another opinion. What if this is the takeaway? These are all the debates that happen. Seth Rollins cash in night one? Does he cash in night two? If he cashes in night two, does Brock Lesnar come back night one? Brock Lesnar comes back night two. Shouldn't Seth Rollins cash in on night one? These are the debates that happen. And now it's open for the public to see what a fascinating industry this truly is behind the scenes.
I loved it. I loved everything about it. Obviously, I'm a super fan, if you will, a longtime fan. I loved it. There was one moment, the whole Punk main event, all this stuff, and everyone fixated on Punk and Triple H hugging. And they said, like, a whole generation was healed after seeing this. But what people didn't notice, and what I noticed, was right before he hugged Triple H, he hugged you. There's a shot of you guys in the distance of the Gorilla Room hugging and like holding on and speaking to each other. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Could you tell me about that? What are you saying to him there? Because that one hit me in the heart.
I told him, I said, you made it and you did it on your own terms. And there's no charity here. And this is not a political move. It's not a gift. It's not being done just to appease you or even the audience. You're in the main event of WrestleMania because you earned the right and the privilege to be in the main event of WrestleMania. And you made this happen. And you worked your whole life for this moment. Enjoy it. Enjoy it for everything that it is. Because you made it. You made this happen. And I told him, I'm so proud of you and I'm so happy for you. And here's the best part. We get to walk out there together. We get to do this together. We get to enjoy this entrance together. And thank you for letting me be a part of it. And and then I hit him with the phrase that is so long gone in our industry and shouldn't be. Thank you for the house.
That's a great phrase.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that.
But all three of them deserve to hear that.
Yeah.
All three of them deserve to hear thank you for the house. Seth Rollins gave the most brilliant microphone performances of his entire career going into WrestleMania. If I had any doubts that it would work with Seth Rollins, and I didn't, my God, his performances going into Mania, I thought Seth Rollins stole the lead up to Mania. I really do. I thought he was the most riveting, the most believable. Just my God, his promos were just so on point in putting us all in our place, putting Roman Reigns in his place, putting even CM Punk in his place, and setting up his heel turn. Punk was just such a compelling character, and you understood. You knew, you could see how real this was to him, that he was going to main event WrestleMania. And for Roman Reigns, just the tribal chief in his first WrestleMania, walking out to the ring in half a decade without the title around his waist. So for Roman Reigns, what was that going to be like? And the manner in which he told his story, and the manner in which he let you know that these two guys are working with me. Roman Reigns, the absolute undisputed #1 top star in this entire industry, and just maintaining that position and that aura and that mystique. They all three deserve to hear thank you for the house. Only one got to hear it though, Punk, because I was with him.
Right. Okay, so much, man. There's so much to discuss with you. You mentioned Seth, and you mentioned the run recently that you're on with him. Saturday was incredible. What a story! And I will be honest, I haven't been paying attention much to the news. I'm just sort of enjoying things. My kids like it, and it was nice. It was nice to be surprised. So I didn't know injured, not in. I knew he was hurt, but I didn't know all the other stuff in between. So when he came out, I was like, holy shit, this is great stuff. Was he ever hurt?
No.
Never hurt. Even like when he was jumping around at Saturday night's main event.
No, that was Plan B.
Holy. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by Plan B?
Well, the story since Mania is a power grab. That this is, oh my God, I'm breaking.
No, you're good. You're good.
This is what we're calling the vision. And the vision was Seth Rollins in a position of power to lead WWE and indeed the entire industry into the future. So how do you get that power grab? The power grab is you need the title. So we needed the title. So every time Seth Rollins was getting himself in a position to where he could go for the championship, CM Punk kept interfering. Because Seth Rollins made the statement, as long as I'm here, CM Punk will never be champion. And Punk decided to reverse that on Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins realized he's never going to be champion as long as CM Punk is around. Or at least as long as CM Punk sees Seth Rollins going for a title. So we need Plan B. So Plan B became get the Money in the Bank briefcase and get out of the way. Out of sight, out of mind. So Punk never sees it coming. It just so happened that CM Punk ends up in the title match at SummerSlam. A happy coincidence on our part. It just so happens CM Punk happens to win at SummerSlam. Now, if CM Punk didn't take that beating from Gunther, it would not have made sense for Seth Rollins to have cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase at SummerSlam. The idea was wait till a champion, Gunther or Punk or anybody that could beat Gunther, and there's not a lot that can, is in a position of vulnerability, cash it in so that Punk can't interfere in the match to stop Seth Rollins from winning the title. It just so happens Punk was in the match. It just so happens Punk won the match. So talk about all stars aligning at the same moment. Not only do we get to prevent CM Punk from stopping Seth Rollins from winning the title, we get to take the title away from CM Punk, who never gets to enjoy the championship, who gets to live out another. CM Punk had a dream as a kid to main event WrestleMania. He got to main event WrestleMania, but his best friend betrayed him, smashed him in the testicles, turned on him, and he didn't get to win in the main event of WrestleMania. He had another dream too, by the way. He wanted to thank the fans, wanted to thank everybody that chanted his name, that chanted CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk, for all the years that he was gone, till WWE had absolutely no choice but to bring CM Punk back. And he gets that moment in his life where he wins the title. He gets to thank the audience that brought him back. CM Punk and the audience that chanted his name are co-champions together. But he doesn't have the title long enough to get the damn side plates put on it. Or as I said on television, he may have had the wedding, but Seth Rollins stole the honeymoon, and that title was good. So here we get a chance to take it away from CM Punk. Half the fun of watching CM Punk win the title was the knowledge that Seth Rollins had that he was going to take it away from him. So that was the opportune moment to cash in, and so we did, and that was Plan B.
The beauty of Unreal, in my opinion, means that now we have to work a little harder to be a little bit more creative. And what I mean by that is the Becky Instagram post with him on the crutches next to their daughter, him on the Rich Eisen show talking about the injury. Now I feel like we have to be a little bit more creative, and that's why I think all this works. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It felt very, it was blurring of the lines. This is what we love. Is it real? Is it not real? This is what the fans crave for, and I feel like it was executed perfectly.
I concur with your assessment.
Yes.
I mean, but then again, when the Junkyard Dog in was it 1980 in Mid South did the blinding angle with Michael Hayes and the Freebirds, Junkyard Dog went all around New Orleans with patches on his eyes and sunglasses, telling hobos, literally going like down alleys so that the word spread out from the streets all the way up to the corporate suites. That wow, the Junkyard Dog really got blinded. In ECW in 1994, when we did the Sandman blinding angle, Sandman, who was known around Philadelphia not just for being the Sandman, not just for being the Sandman on ECW television, but he had a newspaper route. He owned, like Boar's Head sells, routes, and Snapple sells routes. He had a newspaper. He owned the rights to a territory in Philly to where he was the person, drove around the van, had a crew of kids, afternoon delivery of newspapers, and that was a full-time career that he had at the time as we were coming out of the gates with the startup brand of ECW. And when we did the blinding of the Sandman, he didn't drive that van. He didn't supervise the delivery of the newspapers. He stayed home. He stayed home for over 30 days, never left his house, so no one could see that he wasn't really blind. So when he did the Hannibal Lecter reveal of pulling the mask off, of pulling the bandages off his eyes in the ECW arena and caning the crap out of Tommy Dreamer and beating Tommy Dreamer half to death with a Singapore cane because the Sandman wasn't blind, fooled everybody because they bought into it because no one had just seen him going to the local store going, hey, don't tell anybody I'm buying a six-pack of beer, or with the Sandman's case, a case of beer, or 2 cases of beer, for him to smash into his forehead and bleed as he's driving home. Not that the man drives drunk or anything.
No.
Not insinuating such a thing. So, it's been done before. And, it just now, if we want to protect the story, if we want to lure the people in as to not knowing, if we want to add mystique and intrigue, we have to be very careful 24/7, 365.
It was brilliant.
And that's fine. Yeah, I liked it.
Brock Lesnar, how long has that been in the works for?
That happened real quick.
Really?
Yeah, that happened.
Like, what's real quick? Week, 2 weeks?
A couple weeks.
Okay.
I mean, at least to my knowledge, I got tagged into it after the deal was done.
Okay. And when you say deal, like, did he need a deal to come back? What do you mean by deals?
Well, he wasn't coming back on speculation.
No,
he is Brock Lesnar.
No. What I mean by that is, like, did he have to sign a new contract, or was he still? Because we hadn't seen him for 2 years.
Oh,
but,
I'm sure there's a new deal involved.
Okay. And obviously, this has been met with some criticism, right? There's still this ongoing.
Everything in life is met with criticism. I don't pay attention to that.
Is the criticism fair?
Nah, I don't. I don't pay attention to it. He's here. That's a reality of the fact. He's here. And if you were in MetLife Stadium on Sunday, you would understand that return meant a lot to that audience. That audience was jacked to see Brock Lesnar come out and to see him F5 John Cena. Nobody left MetLife Stadium going, oh, God, they brought back Brock. People were just going nuts. That's our paying audience. They're happy to see him. I'm happy to be part of a team that presents him. Everyone has criticism in life. There are people that criticize Jesus. There are people that criticize Moses. There are people that criticize Muhammad. There are people that criticize God or gods. There is no president that has ever existed with 100% approval rating. Or there's no president that's ever existed that someone hasn't pointed to and say, that president sucked. There are people who to this day think Abraham Lincoln sucked. They're wrong, but they think it. There are people who thought FDR sucked. They're wrong, but they think it. Bill Clinton doesn't have a 100% approval rating. Donald Trump doesn't have a 100% approval rating. Nobody does. There's always going to be critics of anything that we do. And very few people ever make it to the top in life without either making mistakes or having skeletons in their closet. Obviously, the decision was made. It's time to bring back Brock Lesnar. Whatever that decision is based on, I respect it. If there are critics of it, get over it. He's here. And he's going to be here. And you ain't going to be able to cancel him. And I'm happy to have him back because the audience is happy to have him back. If we brought him back and the audience rebelled against it, I wouldn't be happy to have him back. I'd be like, oh man, this doesn't work. But it works. So I'm happy about it.
Were you expecting at some point to see him back? Or were you surprised when you got the word this is going to happen?
I didn't know if he was ever willing. You know, because he came to a point where he was very accepting of, this is my life now. I am going to raise my daughter to be an NCAA Division I champion, and she is. I'm going to raise my sons to be the best hockey players that anybody's ever seen, and they are well on their way to being that. I'm going to be a devoted husband to my wife. I'm going to enjoy the time that I have on this planet, and he was accepting of that. Here's his future and what his future was. He was in a very good place, and that's when usually someone throws you a curveball and says, "Hey, you want to completely change your life now?" Oh my God! You know, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. I think I was more surprised when he actually went back in 2012. I think I was more surprised when I went back in 2012. I think I was more surprised when CM Punk came back. Because with Brock, the bridge was never burned. He never badmouthed, or he never gave an interview.
Sure.
But, which is just so Brock Lesnar.
Right.
But he never badmouthed the company. Company never badmouthed him. The situation is what the situation is, but I could never write it off. I just thought too much time will pass, and he's just going to be off doing whatever he wants to do in life. And when the door opens, he'll just sit there and say, eh. But the timing of this, with Cena still, here and doing his retirement tour, with us being on Netflix now, with us going on to ESPN streaming, is there a more legitimate athlete on the face of the planet than the modern day Jim Thorpe, Brock Lesnar? And then you have to think of the fact that what's TKO's two major holdings? UFC and WWE. Okay. Who's ever walked those two paths at that level? There's only two people that's ever been a champion in UFC and in WWE and meant something and main evented WrestleMania. Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar. And I love Ronda to death, but Brock did it longer than Ronda over multiple decades. And look at what he's meant in WWE. So if there's one person that can be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame and the WWE Hall of Fame on the very same night, and both audiences will sit there and say, he absolutely deserves it, there's only one person that walks that line, Brock Lesnar. So the fact that we're owned by TKO and they brought back the man that beat Randy Couture, the greatest heavyweight champion of all time, and didn't just beat him, Brock didn't wrestle him, Brock beat him standing up. Brock knocked out Randy Couture. I'd say that says something about Brock Lesnar, the UFC fighter, and his accomplishments in WWE go from conquering The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania to all of his WWE and Universal Heavyweight title runs, to the money that he drew, and to the fact that he was part of the greatest promos in the history of the business, simply standing next to his advocate, Paul Heyman.
And so his presence and the attack pretty much signals an end to heel Cena, for all intents and purposes. At least that was my read on it. And so It lasted from March 1st, Elimination Chamber, until this past Sunday.
I think John Cena abandoned the heel Cena character the Friday night before SummerSlam.
Fair. That's 100% fair, but I think it just kind of like put the nail in the coffin, because there were some people after that promo who said, like, maybe he's trying to swerve him, all this stuff. But yes, that's 2 days prior. Here's the thing. You say abandon. So how would you assess it? How did it go? Now that it's essentially come and gone, this thing that we had talked about for so many years, what would John Cena be like as a heel? How would you assess that 5-month period? Was it a mistake to turn him?
No.
Did it go as you thought it would?
No. No, because it opened my eyes to the fact that this is an audience that is here to see stars and performances. As much as they are rooted into the storylines, they are there to appreciate the twisted performance art known as professional wrestling in WWE. And here's how I knew that. The moment, and John Cena comes out, that place went nuts. Star pop of a magnitude few have ever experienced. Rarefied air, what we in the business used to call the Road Warrior pop. I mean, just when his music hit, Austin, Rock, Cena, Roman Reigns, that level, right? And then once he's out on the stage, John Cena sucks, right? And they're booing him and they're telling him that he sucks. And it wasn't even 50-50 anymore. Let's go Cena sucks. It was now 1/3, maybe 25%, 20%. Let's go Cena sucks. Let's go Cena sucks. Boo him out of the building as a heel. And the moment they saw the red light go off and they knew the show was over and he's standing there in the ring, they all gave him a standing ovation because it's his last time as an in-ring performer in that city. And they're all chanting, "Thank you, Cena." So the audience knew their role. And that's fascinating to watch, that the audience now understands their role in all of this. And I saw that curve coming, but not to the degree or that it happened so expeditiously. But the picture-perfect example of it is the reaction to heel Cena. Okay, we're here for this ride. All right. Oh, he's here live. That's John Cena. That's a huge star. I'm seeing him live. You suck. You mother blow. The show's over. Thank you, Cena. I keep on banging into this.
Sorry. It's all good. It's all good.
It was just fascinating to watch. I'm glad he got to do it too, because I hate what ifs. As long as it's about the past. I love what ifs for the future. What if we do this?
Yeah.
What if we do that? When it stokes your imagination. But I hate, what if Muhammad Ali protected himself better in that match, in that fight with George Foreman? Would he have suffered the injury to his brains as much as he did? What if he didn't walk into that punch from Ken Norton that broke his jaw? Would that have enabled Ali to not suffer as much as he did later in life? All these what ifs. What if Gordie Howe played against Wayne Gretzky? What if Michael Jordan played against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, against LeBron James, against Wilt Chamberlain? What would Wilt Chamberlain have been like? What if Wilt Chamberlain got to play against Steph Curry today? These what ifs are frustrating as hell. What if John Cena had ever turned heel? Oh, man, we'll never know. Well, now we know. Now we know what would have happened. The what ifs I like for the future. I can't stand them for the past. And that would have been a what if that we all would have asked. And I thought he delivered. I thought he took it as far as he could possibly take it. He even took it places I didn't think he was going to. And he put his heart and his soul and his passion into it. And it was a risk for him to do that. Number one, that man sells a lot of merchandise. He makes a lot of money on merchandise. Number two, hey, you never know who you're going to piss off. You never know. I did the Tony Hinchcliffe roast of WrestleMania with a panel filled, like Jeff Dye and these other people whose names escape me at the moment. No disrespect towards them, but I did a panel. There was a panel of professional roasters, and I went out there for a roast, which is supposed to be profane and shocking and mean and ugly and nasty and personal. And I almost got in a fist fight with Fluffy, who legitimately wanted to fight me over what I was saying about him on stage. And I know I pissed off Freddie Prinze Jr. because I used a line about him and his father just to let the panel know I'm here to outdo all of you. So you never know who you're going to piss off. Never. I mean, the fact that I was on stage and that a professional roaster was up there and took offense to the roast that I'm delivering was shocking to me. So John Cena has much bigger deals in Hollywood than I do, at least for the moment. And you don't know what studio head you're going to piss off. John Cena did one line. He said, he said, I've been the one to raise your kids because you parents have done such a lousy job of doing it. And you don't know, like some studio head may have a kid at home wearing a John Cena t-shirt now with an X through it that says, you're a lousy parent because John Cena had to raise me because he said you suck as a parent. And that studio head goes, I never want to see John Cena on my studio lot again. It happens that fast. Mm-hmm. You never know who you're going to piss off. And he took a risk in doing it. He makes a lot of money in sponsorships, streaming deals. He could have pissed off anybody, and he took that risk because he was cutting into his own audience when he was doing the bit.
What about the Rock component and the Travis Scott component? It didn't seem like there was a payoff to all of that.
There was. It fell apart, and we moved forward without it.
What fell apart?
The whole deal with Travis Scott.
Is it true that he's pissed people off and he's done? Is that true?
I don't know if he's done. Any meeting that I was in that involved Travis Scott, I got along with him fine. Have I heard things? I have. Do I know the accuracy of it? Haven't heard Travis's version of it. Like his music, like his taste in women that he has children with. Wish I was dating one of those sisters. I'm not. He was married to one. He's doing better in his personal life than I am.
What about The Rock?
What about The Rock?
Like he didn't show up at WrestleMania.
Well, he was never advertised or booked for WrestleMania.
No, I know, but it seemed like there was going to be some sort. That he's there. The throat, the three of them.
I don't know. I don't know what happened with Dwayne. That's something you should have Dwayne come into these beautiful Yahoo studios
would be great.
And answer for himself. I really don't know.
Okay.
Or have Brian Gewirtz come in, and I'm sure he can tell you their side of the story. I really don't know. I mean, especially at WrestleMania, I had enough on my plate.
Sure.
I wasn't really that concerned with what was going to happen with John Cena and Cody Rhodes' storyline. I was more concerned with the fact that we got a lot to pull off here with the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and CM Punk, and where we're going to go with Seth Rollins and how we're going to do this and how we're going to get to next year's Mania and this year's SummerSlam and the trajectory that we had. There was a lot on my plate, and also other people that I was working with. Just the talent backstage at the time, because Mania, there are a lot of people that are going to get their nerves up going into Mania season, and a lot of young talent in our locker room, a lot of young talent. You have someone like Tiffany Stratton working with Charlotte Flair, and that almost fell apart, and did for a moment. We had to get that train back on the tracks. So just people, and I get along great with both of them and wanted to help both of them get that train on the tracks. So to pay attention to what's happening, that's not going to make it to Mania. Hey, this is what's going on. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Okay, are they going to be at Mania or not? No, fuck it. What are we going to do? Don't have time to sit there and say, ooh, what happened? I mean, I understand as a reporter, it's your job to ask and to find out and to deliver the news to the audience. So it's not gossip to you, it's news. But to me, backstage, that's just gossip because I have too much on my plate helping us get not just to WrestleMania, but to the main event of WrestleMania. And that's what I was involved in. So, and trying to help everyone else who are future WrestleMania main eventers. So if they're not going to make it to Mania, I don't care why. Dwayne Johnson going to be at Mania? No, don't care why. Travis Scott, what are we doing with him? He's going to be at Mania. Don't care why. Don't care. Or he was,
Right.
But
Yeah.
will he be afterwards? No, we don't know. We don't think so. Okay, great. God bless him. I hope he sends a signed what they don't make
8x10?
albums anymore.
Oh,
They don't make CDs anymore. What do they make?
vinyl, old school.
Oh man, vinyl. See, it can't be.
We take it all the way
can't
back.
be vinyl,
Take it all
right?
the way back. Could I ask you, Rollins, Bronson, Braun? How long has that been in the works for? Like, when does that seed first start to develop?
When we start talking about next year's WrestleMania.
So this has been like a year ago. This idea that eventually we will get to the point, right? Because like that was nowhere in the plan.
No, the conversation. Well, the original idea for this year's Mania was
Nowhere in the plan.
no, the conversation. Well, the original idea for this year's Mania was Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, Gunther versus CM Punk. That was the original idea for this year's Mania.
Okay.
And along the way, when we got to Survivor Series, and I came back,
And also Cody Cena, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I think Cody Cena was always the path.
Okay.
Listen, we also discussed at some point, do we do Roman versus Cody 3?
Hmm.
Do they main event a third WrestleMania in a row? That would have been interesting too. We explored all options. We got to Survivor Series. I came back with CM Punk to save the original bloodline from Solo's bloodline after they had put me through the table at Madison Square Garden. The dynamic between Roman and Punk was so fascinating to watch that at some point we said, ooh, is it Roman versus Punk? Is it Seth versus Gunther? Is it Roman versus Punk and Seth versus Gunther? Wow, there's something to be said for that, you know? And then at some point, we realized it's so much more intriguing as a triple threat. And Jey Uso's riding a wave of momentum. So if Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble, and he goes on to face Gunther, and now you have a stadium filled with people that not only get to do that entrance, but in celebration of a title victory, you get that celebration at WrestleMania. What a WrestleMania moment. And then you have this intriguing triple threat with Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, two founding members of the Shield, Paul Heyman's best friend, the tribal chief who rescued Paul Heyman from the ocean of obscurity and brought him on the island of relevancy, Seth Rollins, who I really didn't have a lot of association with over the years, except for the fact that I brought in the Shield as bodyguards, policemen, enforcers for CM Punk in 2012 when he was the WWE champion. So you have all these stories that have been told since 2012 amongst the 3 participants and me, that's the way to go. So if we go there, what do we do? What do we do in this match? What makes sense? What makes the most sense? What gives us the most options? What gives us a story that we can tell throughout this entire year till next year's WrestleMania? Let's not just stop there. What gives us a story that we can tell the next year's WrestleMania and propels us to the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that? So now it's not just about these 3 people and me. Now it's about who's the future? Braun Breaker. Okay, let's get him involved. Look how Bronson Reed's coming up. Look at his performances going into War Games. Look what he did with Seth Rollins. Bronson Reed's coming up. Bronson Reed can really add to this, all right? Let's put him in the main act. Okay, who else? Well, there's always Jey Uso. He's Roman Reigns' cousin. People love the OG bloodline. There's Jimmy. Big Jim's coming along. People getting behind Big Jim on his own now, has his own distinct, unique personality, not just half of the Usos. And what about the rise of Jacob Fatu? My God. Talk about someone that caught the attention and the love and the passion of the WWE audience. Jacob Fatu became a major star since his debut last year. So we can get him involved, and we can get this person involved, and we can get all these different people involved along the way. Where does it start? Mania. Who's involved? Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Paul Heyman. What do we do? This is what we do. Okay, now that we've done it, what are our next storyline beats? What's the next layer? Who's the next participant in this? Who now joins the story? What's their connection to it? How do they elicit a passionate response from an audience that we are now saying, buy a ticket, tune into our streaming service, watch us every Monday on Raw and every Friday on SmackDown, so we keep on getting these multi-billion-dollar licensing agreements, licensing deals from the networks and the streaming services. How do you become a WWE fan based on the addition of this person to this top storyline?
Man, you still have some time? There's so much.
No, but I'll make it.
Okay.
Oh my God, what time is it? How long have we been doing this?
Like an hour and change.
Yeah, okay.
But this has been incredible. Okay, I'll go through. I just
put
want
it this way: who's going to pull us off?
No one. This is live. It's a shoot, brother. What do you make of what's going on with Karrion Kross?
In what way?
Something's happening. You see the crowd. They're chanting for him at the post show and all this stuff. He didn't get the W. Is there a thing here? Or is it just like the internet trying to make something into a thing?
Well, they've made it a thing.
Okay.
And it's not just the internet. It's the internet. It's the live crowd. It's the people that buy merchandise. He's a tremendous performer, and what an act he has with Scarlett. I mean, they are great together.
Should he be getting more opportunities? Should he be?
How do you know? Well, let me ask you this: if he were getting great opportunities, if he were the Intercontinental Champion or the U.S. Champion right now, would he have this level of support from the crowd?
No, they love to get behind, Kofi, Daniel Bryan. They love to get behind someone, the underdog, so to speak.
So it's working.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it's working.
All right.
Yeah. It's organic.
And by the way, I'm not hating on it. It's fun. I like him. I'm rooting for him. It's just fun to see these things sort of, like, kind of.
The audience is calling for him to be a bigger star, and if we don't deliver it on a timetable that an impatient audience, an impassioned audience is going to like, they're going to get behind him even more, which is great. They're making him a star. We're not shoving him and Scarlett down anybody's throats. The audience itself is making him a star, and indeed, perhaps a top star. And he's talented enough, and so is she, to carry it. It reminds me of someone else, by the way, that was in WWE, that the audience felt, this is our guy. We like this act. We'd like him to be a bigger star. Why aren't you making him a bigger star? Damn it, make him a bigger star. We're going to chant his name. We're going to bring his signs. We're going to buy his t-shirts. We're going to demand that you make him a bigger star. That guy's name was Steve Austin. Daniel Bryan, too.
CM Punk as well.
See, my God.
I
yes,
thought that's
CM
actually
Punk.
what you were going to say.
Yeah,
there, when you were saying all that.
yes,
Yes.
CM Punk. But yeah, point taken as well. I concede that point to you.
Did you hear what Bill Goldberg said on the program? He was upset. Was that fair?
It's Bill.
You weren't surprised?
It's Bill.
Okay.
It's Bill. It's, if you know, I again, I have been the liaison for Brock Lesnar. I've been the liaison for Roman Reigns. I've been half of the liaison, not lately, but I mean, especially back when we were together on camera, half a liaison for CM Punk. He had no problem handling, he didn't require as much of a buffer as some of these other people like to have. I've been a liaison for Ronda Rousey. I've been a liaison for Goldberg. These are personalities that have very, very, very strong opinions and very, very high expectations. And Bill Goldberg had very, very high expectations in WWE. And in Bill Goldberg's mind, they weren't met. I am not going to sit here and tell you, well, Bill Goldberg was wrong. I'm not going to tell you WWE was wrong. I tell you, this is how Bill Goldberg felt. And he's not shy in letting people know how he feels. I'm not surprised. It's Bill. This is how he feels. And he's going to let you know about it.
I know your path didn't necessarily cross throughout your career with Hulk Hogan, but did you have any kind of relationship with him? Like, I know, like when he came back, like post 2000, you were there, right? But for the most part, you were kind of on different teams, right? Did you have any sort of
my interaction on camera with Hulk Hogan is limited to the fact that he worked with Brock Lesnar right before Brock Lesnar beat The Rock for the title at the Nassau Coliseum in SummerSlam 2002. And when we did MetLife Stadium in 2019, and the show opened with Hulk Hogan posing with Alexa Bliss, I interrupted it and walked out to the ring to Real American to kick off the show for, of all things, Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. My on-air exposure to Hulk Hogan was very limited. I didn't get to work with him behind the scenes that much, even when I was writing SmackDown in 2002, and he was on the show for a brief period. I knew Hulk in 1980 when he was in WWE, and I was a 15-year-old photographer, and he was always super cool to me. And even cooler to me once he knew that I was riding with Afa and Sika, the Wild Samoans, because he loved the Wild Samoans and they loved him. Every time I saw him, he was a complete gentleman to me. The best thing, I know people have both their glowing love of Hulk Hogan, and I know people have their behind the scenes how much they hated him. Here's all I can tell you about Hulk Hogan. In 1988, I had just started in WCW. And it was my Midnight Express against Jim Cornette's Midnight Express. And Ted Turner had just taken over WCW. My Midnight Express debuted against Cornette's Midnight Express literally the week that Ted Turner took over WCW. A couple months into my run, and I'm 23 years old, and I mean, I'd barely been on national television that long. A couple months into my run, we're running in and around the Chicago area for a couple days. WWE is running in Chicago. We're running Peoria. They move on to like Milwaukee or something. We now run Chicago the day after. I pull up when we all used to stay at the same hotel, the Radisson Suites Hotel, which is gone now, which is on Manheim Road in Chicago, 5 minutes from the airport. I pull up, a limousine pulls up behind me. I get out of the car, Hulk Hogan gets out of the limousine. brother, how you doing, brother? Hey, man, since you've been a photographer, hey, you broke in, you're doing it right, you're doing it great. Talk to me for a minute, brother. So we get into his limo, and the first thing he says is, he goes, how long's your contract for? I'm a big fan of your work.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there, and this is 1988 Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
This is Hulkamania when it's Hulkamania, okay? This is the absolute biggest star in the entire business and a mainstream celebrity. And he's a fan of mine? I'm not even getting a chance to say, thank you for the house, thank you for paving the road. My God, what you've done for this business, we will all benefit for generations to come. I'm not even getting these words out of my mouth. All he's doing is, brother, I'm only as good as the opponents they bring me. I always need opponents, and you can talk for my opponents. And there's only so many times I can bounce around Bobby Heenan, only so many times I can throw Jimmy Hart over the top rope. We got to get you in here. And I'm like, thank you. It's humbling because I don't even get a chance, and as soon as he's done saying this, all right, brother, see you on the check-in line, and gets out of the limo. He didn't even wait for me to say anything to him. Never fished for a compliment, never waited for me to go, thank you, sir, and by the way. He finished his spiel and got out. And from what I understand with other people, he was gracious with them like that too. So my experiences with him were all pretty positive. Then again, I was never in backstage politics opposed to him.
Right.
And I don't know what that was like, so I can't speak to it. But I can tell you, as far as my personal interactions with him, he was always a gentleman with me.
We round third here. Big news this morning. ESPN.
I can just see, by the way, that
What?
everyone in WWE who's watching this right now is sitting there for the past hour going, will you please get to the ESPN?
So, you know what?
What are you doing? No. My God. Like
That was
Heyman, never do the Helwani show
No,
again.
please don't say that, because that has been said. Please don't say that. That's the natural starting point, so I like to keep people on their toes. But we've been talking about it all day on the program. Big news, ESPN, WWE, who would have thought? When I'm at ESPN 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I'm begging them to send us to a PLE. Now, fast forward, they're in business. Exclusive deal here in the United States, 5-year deal, $325 or so a pop. It's an unbelievable thing. I think everyone thought, of course they're going to go to Netflix, right? I think everyone thought that. They don't go. They go to ESPN. What was your reaction when you heard this?
Not surprised at all. The leader in sports entertainment, as the advertising will tell you, and the worldwide leader in sports coverage. The only constant is change. We go back full circle in this conversation. Well, for me, I tell you a personal anecdote. My first national TV exposure was on ESPN when I was 21 years old, because back in those days, Vern Gagne's AWA ran an afternoon strip Monday to Friday on ESPN. So my first national exposure was on ESPN back in 1987 when I was 21 years old with the AWA. So now here
I believe that's the last time ESPN aired pro wrestling in any way, shape, or form, right?
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. The definition of what we do has evolved. Again, take a look at Unreal. Unreal now lets you know just how big and intricate what we do truly is. It's not just a couple guys in their underwear going out to the ring saying, oh, I'm going to rip over your head and piss down your neck. Hey, your mother wears combat boots. Okay, that's it. Let's fight. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, brother. Boom. Okay, this guy wins. There's a lot that goes into it. A lot. We're mainstream entertainment. So if you look at the evolving definition of what we do, you have to give us the category of sport. You have to. Is it predetermined? Absolutely. Is it entertainment? Absolutely. Is Conor McGregor entertainment? Absolutely. Conor McGregor was the most entertaining UFC fighter. That's why he drew their biggest gates. Was Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul a fight? I believe it was. Was it entertaining? Sure was. Was the buildup to it entertainment? Sure was. Was it the biggest live boxing match of all time streaming on Netflix? Sure was. Was Floyd Mayweather entertaining? Sure was. I was a big Floyd Mayweather fan from the get-go, but when they did that 24/7 series on HBO, everyone became a fan of Floyd Mayweather or a fan of the villain Floyd Mayweather, especially against Oscar De La Hoya, let alone against all his other opponents. When you saw the internal family drama of Roger Mayweather, the uncle, training Floyd because Floyd no longer wanted his own father, who was a hell of a trainer, to train him anymore. And the father came by the gym and is yelling at Floyd and at Roger, and he throws his father out of the gym, and he goes, "I don't need your shit anymore. I don't have, fuck you," and blah, 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 blah. You know, and he ends the show with, "And I ain't no junior." Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And that resonated in my head because Vince McMahon never liked to be called junior. When we brought Rey Mysterio into WWE, didn't want to be Vince didn't want to be Rey Mysterio Jr. He just wanted to be Rey Mysterio. So I realized, man, you know what? There are people that really do feel this way. I knew it. And I was like, wow, I was riveted by the Floyd Mayweather story. Was it entertainment? Oh, come on. Of course it was, until the ding, ding, ding. There are great athletes out there, world-class athletes that have Super Bowl rings, World Series titles, or have won heavyweight championships in UFC or in a boxing ring, that come down, step into the PC, try to hit the ropes, take a flat back bump, see what that ring is like, and want no part of it. Number one, the cardio is a completely different concept than it is in any other sport. Number two, it is a completely different science than anything else. But if you're not an athlete, if you don't have athletic ability, if you don't have sport, if you don't have some sort of sport in you, you can't do this. I can't do it in the ring. And I know this business, I dare say, as if you put a list together of the 5 people on the face of this planet in history that have understood this industry, I dare say, with all humility aside, I'm on anybody's list. And I can't do it. I can't do a moonsault. I can't do what Logan Paul did at SummerSlam. My God, that kid's an athlete. This is sport. It's predetermined sport, but it's sport. If ESPN were to ignore that, shame on ESPN. And the chairman of ESPN, Jimmy Pitaro, is an exceptionally bright man, and I know that he is because I know of his education because he went to the same high school as me.
Wow.
I went to Jimmy Pitaro is an Edgemont High School grad,
Wow.
which makes him smart. That's why when I raised my kids, I wanted my kids to go to Edgemont High School because it's been consistently ranked amongst the top in the country.
Incredible.
So he's a smart man that made a smart deal with other smart people like Nick Khan and Ari Emanuel and Paul Levesque to bring a guaranteed product. There's proof of concept in our product. And he's bringing it to the viewers of ESPN because much like those who chant for Karrion Kross, the viewers of ESPN or ESPN Plus demanded this. They wanted this. They're willing to pay for it. And who is he to tell the audience that they're wrong? They're not. You underpromise and you overdeliver. And he's giving them what they want and what they're willing to pay for, which will only make ESPN more money and make it more impressive for Disney, and the Disney stock goes up, and the TKO stock goes up, and hopefully Paul Heyman's paycheck goes up as well.
What a time. And now we wait to see where the UFC goes. But they have taken over combat sports.
Oh,
Who would have thought?
Dana White thought it,
Yeah.
and he was right. And meanwhile, here we are an hour and a half later, and we never got to look at the clip from Looking for Larry.
Oh, where is it, guys? Do we have it? Do we have it? Let me see here.
Do we have it?
There it is.
Oh, This now, before, don't
Go.
wait, help,
Don't
pause,
play.
pause.
Frank,
My God, man.
you're ruining
My
it,
God,
Frank.
man.
You're ruining it. Okay.
So I walk in today,
Okay.
and I have been telling you know Mitchell Stewart.
Of course.
What a creative, amazing, humble.
Please send him my best.
Oh, well, he's watching.
Okay.
I'm sure he's watching. I'm sure right now, my son, who's in the control room learning,
Amazing.
is sitting there getting phone call from Mitchell going, why didn't he hear the clip?
Okay.
Why didn't he hear the but before? So Mitchell put this deal together looking for Larry with the MCM studios. And I have been on Mitchell's ass since AI really started to come out of the gates, saying, if we don't get in on this thing AI, if we don't get in on artificial intelligence, we might as well just say, looking for Larry was a great run. It's time to close up shop. AI is the future of everything, in this world. And when Elon Musk colonizes Mars, of that world too. And he said, I got it. I know the move. I know the move. I know the move. I know the move. And I trust him because he's amongst the most trustworthy individuals in the entire world, which is why it's surprising he has a partner like me. I'm the gangster of the two of us. So finally today I went to the studio. And of course, the first thing I ask is, show me the AI. Because bad AI is horrible.
Right.
And I'm like, if this AI is not like, to me, you know the things online where the little kid, they have little kids doing our promos and our scenes. I'm blown away by that. That's like that just.
I didn't know that was AI.
Oh, of course.
I thought it was real. That's how good it is.
The kid with a beard.
Yeah, I mean.
So they have a little kid doing this interview and a little kid. I want to see that, by the way. I want to see that online in the next week. That something from this
right here?
interview, and it's Helwani, with the beard and
The big yes.
So I walked in. I was real skeptical. I was like, if this is not absolute 8K, out of the box, progressive, innovative, cutting edge, better than anybody else AI,
That's not.
it ain't gonna work. And he just had that sly Mitchell Stewart smile on his face and goes, looking for Larry is going to be bigger than ever. And this is what he showed me. What you're watching has not one human being, has not one actual camera in use. This
Holy
is
shit.
all AI.
Wow.
This is artificial intelligence at its most innovative. This is for a client, which is a tequila company.
Wow.
Look at the details on the fingers, on the fingernails, on the eyes, on the fruit, on the knife, on the background, on the hat, on the shirt. This is AI. That's not a real person. That's not a real fire. This is all AI.
Smoke, fire, earth, spirit.
That's insane. Because there was an MMA promotion that came out and did all their videos in AI, and it was exactly as you were saying, horrendous. This is the complete opposite. I don't want to say their name. I don't want to.
So this is for a client of ours, which is Si Senor Tequila.
Okay. Wow.
And
That is absurd.
And
Look at this. What?
all AI.
That is scary. How good it is.
Yeah. So so today I wake up
Wow.
and
wow.
I find out that WWE, which is on Netflix every Monday and worldwide on Fridays as well, that WWE is on this huge streaming, the biggest streaming platform on the face of the planet, Netflix. And now our premium live events are going to be carried by the worldwide leader in sports coverage, ESPN. And I find out that my side gig, my side hustle, all pun intended, which is the Looking for Larry agency, has now partnered with a firm that we can deliver AI to that degree. It's a good day.
What a day.
What a day. And I get to come here and do the
I was
Ariel
waiting for that
Helwani
part. Yeah, I was
show
waiting.
for the final time
Wow.
that WWE ever allows me in the studio.
Why?
Because we waited an hour and a year. I bet you it feels like a year to them watching
No,
at
no, no.
Stanford. Because we waited an hour and a half to talk about ESPN.
It was a big deal. We talked about it at the top of the show, but we got into the coffee and the you back here 15 years. There was so much to catch up on.
It was.
It was so much
We
fun.
never got to the Epstein list either.
Oh my gosh. Can I end on this?
On the Epstein list?
No.
You may not.
Can I end on this? There's so much to be excited about. There's so much to be proud of. I'm talking about from your perspective. There's so much to discuss, and there's so much more that we could discuss. So much has happened. But what I love most about you and respect most about you is that every time I would call you on a personal note, I would say, how are you? As we said at the top, I'm a blessed man. And you would say, why? My kids are healthy.
My kids are healthy, yeah.
And very recently, I got to meet your kids again for the first time in a very long time. A very proud moment in my life was being invited to your daughter's bat mitzvah. It was just Punk and I from the world of wrestling, even though I'm not really from that world. And your son was there, Jacob, Azalea and Jacob. And then I got to reconnect with them very recently. And as I told you privately, but I would like to say publicly, that is your greatest legacy. You're going to be known for a lot of things. I was blown away by your kids. In their early 20s, I was blown away by how they conducted themselves, by how mature they were, how they talked to people, how they talked to me, how they talked to my kids who were there as well. The things your son was saying was very much like you, cut from the same cloth. And I'm not just saying it because I wouldn't say it if I didn't. I was so impressed with your kids and the job that you have done as a father. And I hope that people recognize just how good of a dad and the job that you've done raising them, because I was blown away. And I told my kids afterwards that night, I hope you were paying attention to them because they were what I want you to be.
Well, thank you. I am a blessed man. And my children are truly my parents' grandchildren. They inherited my parents' karma, not mine, thankfully. I strive every day to be worthy of being Azalea and Jacob's father. That's my goal. And they are my legacy. Everything else I do in life is just to avoid having a real job. I just never wanted to have when I was a kid, I was a photographer. And then I worked at Studio 54. And then from Studio 54, I had a public relations firm at 20 years old, and then I went from there to going on the road into this business. I never wanted a real job. I just never wanted to be one of many. So everything I've done in life is just to pursue my dreams and my passions, and avoid real work. And they are my real work. That's my legacy, and they're my breath. And I just every day of my life, I just want to be worthy of them calling me their father.
Job done.
I
Well
thank
done.
you for
Yeah,
that, and I appreciate it more than I
course.
can ever describe.
Of course. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate this
Thank you.
more than I can ever describe. You know how much it means to me. Sorry for taking so much of your time, but there was
Well,
a
if you're
lot.
sorry, why'd you do it?
Well, there was a lot to get into. Well, sorry. I'm
See, we're
sorry.
making a screechy voice again.
I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I get, that's Paul Heyman. He is the man. He is the Oracle. Catch him Monday nights on Raw. If you haven't watched Unreal, do yourself a favor. ESPN in 2026. So much excitement, so little time.
Using social media to view or upload content can use up to 1 gigabyte of data in just 1 hour. A 7-day trip, but only 1 gigabyte of data? Use ByteSim. Forget about overpaying for top-ups. With ByteSim, enjoy unlimited data and stay connected in over 200 destinations worry-free. Download now and start your journey.
You are the voice of WWE.
Frog splash!
It's Michael Cole.
Thanks, guys. I am so excited to be here. We were talking right before the Rumble. I just said, hey, I should do your show one time.
Do you want to know why it happened so quick?
Huh?
Tiffy time canceled on us.
Oh, I'm a replacement for Tiffy. Way to go, guys. You asshole. We need stories so our fans can emotionally invest in our characters. Why do they hate Logan Paul? Because he's a cocky prick, right? And the crowd surfing thing was wild. That would have never happened under Vince McMahon. Michael Cole yeeting on a table would never happen. Trying to dap up rappers would have never happened under Vince McMahon.
But I was the original yeet, by the way.
So did Jay steal it from you?
Yes, and I'm sending him a cease and desist. Not a work.
I had a little run back when I was a heel where I actually got in the ring. Terrible what I did, but I took bumps, right?
Couldn't have been worse than mine.
Watch WrestleMania in 2011 when I had my match with Jerry. You know, I know at the time, we're about to go on the air live. It's all this pressure. I see Pat walk into Gorilla with these shorts on. What the f*** are you doing? Then he stormed off. And I'm like, where the f*** are you going? I'm not doing the show.
What?
Let's talk about it. My gosh. Caleb, you rolling?
Yes, sir.
Shelby, you rolling?
Yes, sir. Ask me something.
Mike, are you rolling?
Yeah, not right now. That would be a show.
Yeah, right? That would be a show in its own.
Okay. Oh, man, I'm so proud to say this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Michael Cole.
Thanks, guys. I am so excited to be here. Really,
Veteran.
seriously. It's funny when we were talking right before the Rumble about some stuff, and I just said, hey, I should do your show one time. And he's like, oh, my God, let's do it.
He's pumped.
I didn't expect to get a text, though, while I'm drinking in the bar at 12:30 at night to say, hey, can you be at the Hyatt at 12 o'clock tomorrow?
Do you want to know why it happened so quick?
How?
Tiffy time canceled on us.
Oh, I'm a replacement for Tiffy. Way to go, guys. Thanks. Thank you.
No,
Thanks.
I can be honest about it because I told you. When you said I got to be on your podcast, I was like, yeah, yes. Like, it'll happen eventually. We stagger the wrestlers because people just call us a wrestling podcast, which is partially true. It's a big part of my life now. But, yeah, we had Tiffany on, and she canceled, and we were like, dang, so, like, we're screwed. And I was like, I just had this conversation with Michael, shot in the dark. Let's see if he's available. So, dude, yes.
Why did she cancel? Is it somebody told me it's because she's like super big time now?
Yeah, she big timed us.
She did
She's
big
doing,
time
I
you.
think she's doing Rogan today.
Really?
Yeah.
She big timed it. That's the women's world champ, right? She's doing a whole media tour. Like, yeah.
Yep.
So, dude, Michael Cole.
So wait a minute. Let's get back to Tiffany for a second. What? I saw this go viral. What happened?
With what?
The whole Ludwig Kaiser protecting his girl thing?
Dog. This is the dumbest narrative that, bro, I don't even want to feed in. Michael Hayes is the one who started this.
Of course he is.
Bro, I was just telling Tiffany, like a good peer, like if you ever need advice on how to be a good wrestler or like anything, I know she's the women's champion, but I'm the champion of everything. So I was just like, yo, if you want to learn how to do a good moonsault better, a frog splash, like I can help you. And Michael Cole came up to, or Michael Hayes, sorry, you're Michael Cole.
Long night.
Very long night.
Very long night.
He's like, busted. You were flirting with Tiffany. And I'm like, Michael, I'm just being a friendly guy. And then Ludwig took it wrong and then tried to attack me backstage with a chair because I was flirting with his girl, or so he thought. Like, I'm not here to cause drama, bro. I don't want any problems. I'm here to win.
Yeah. Big time rivalry, though, developed maybe.
Bro.
You and Kaiser?
There's no rivalry. There's nothing, bro. There's like, these guys are peanuts to me. Let's be honest, you know?
Oh, they're peanuts. That's really going to go over well with Kaiser.
Bro, it's peanuts to me, bro. I'm wrestling the big matches, bro. The Elimination Chambers, the top three of the Rumble. Like, you were announcing top three of Royal Rumble.
And you had an incredible move, too. Off the ring to the announce table to the barricade to the steps to back in.
Brother.
How did you take to this so quickly?
No, Michael. This is your podcast.
No, but I do have a serious question. I've been wanting to ask you this. I've done this for 28 years now. I've never seen anyone take to the business as quickly as you have. Now, McAfee, who's obviously my partner, Pat's done great in the ring.
He's incredible.
But you just came aboard and, like, it was awesome. Like, how?
Thanks, Michael.
Seriously.
The answer is, I think, far less exciting than you'd think. I wrestled, like, the majority of my younger life,
right?
And I did a ton of stunts for YouTube videos.
Okay, yeah, right.
If you like, it kind of made perfect sense that I would end up right where I am. And then you obviously add the talking shit, being the villain, and now it's kind of like everything.
And the athleticism too. Like it's like when you watch him last night, because you know this has been a couple years brewing now, and there's been so many times where I've like talked about like as an outsider looking in his level of athleticism, but when you see him enter the ring with the caliber of talent that was in that ring last night, it's so palpable the level that he's on. Like, I don't think anyone could actually do it. Like, no, I'm serious. I really, really noticed it when you entered last into the, like, and you have seen all these people, you know, Cena, Punk, and all the, you know, new guys, old guys, everybody. And you're out there walking on this railing. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, I know this kid very well, but is there a chance he falls? There's no chance he falls. He's gonna nail it. He's fully focused. He's fully locked in. What are you going to say about the wall?
First off, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
But I think people really see it, dude, honestly.
Can I tell you a quick story before we get into your podcast about that table jump?
Yeah.
Do you know how many people came up to me and didn't think I would make that jump? Bro, I had like 7 producers come up to me and they said, "Are you sure you can make that jump?" I say, "Bro, I'm certain." There is 0% chance I don't make that jump because it was like a 9-foot leap.
You nailed it.
Did you have a backup plan for a miss? No, right?
No,
which
he would
is
have been
good.
eliminated. So.
No. Which is good too because it's like almost like a manifestation of that miss happening. Did you practice the jump?
A couple times.
Actual ring to table?
No.
Just the distance.
Yeah.
Do you think that his skills and his ability to do it there would potentially translate to a traditional, like could you go to the standing long jump and compete in the Olympics?
I did the long jump.
Oh,
You did? Of course
yeah,
you did.
Yeah.
What else haven't you done?
No, I'm a jack of all trades, multi-hyphenate.
Oh, you are.
Stop. Michael, this is your podcast.
This is exciting for me.
Bro, this is exciting for me. I think what you do is probably the most impactful part of what we do. You are the voice of WWE. You are telling the stories. For anyone tuning in who isn't a fan or in the WWE universe, you're the one connecting the dots and literally painting the picture with your words so people can follow the story. And in my opinion, the WWE storylines are so rich, and that's what sets the universe apart and the organization apart. That's why it's worth, you know, multiple billions of dollars, and you're the one painting the canvas for the viewer.
And that's why Netflix wanted us, right? I mean, Netflix understands that we're a storytelling entity first. We're not professional wrestling anymore. We haven't been for many years. We're an entertainment product.
Yep.
And we need stories so our fans can emotionally invest in our characters. Why do they hate Logan Paul? Because he's a cocky prick, right? And
I wasn't aware.
As a character,
I wasn't aware people hated me.
But
I feel loved and revered.
Oh yeah, after the entrance last night, the loudest boo of the evening.
His mom said last night. I probed his mom. I queried his mom about this last night at McDonald's. I said
at McDonald's.
Yeah, I said we went there at 4 a.m. I said, Pam, are you aware of the number of people who dislike your son? And she said those people are simply wrong. That's her answer to it. She's like, no. I'm like, there's no world where you could see a criticism, right? She's like, absolutely not. They're simply wrong. I was like, okay,
that's my mother.
Yeah,
that's my mom.
She's
great mom, right?
She's amazing.
But no, again, we're an entertainment product, and it's the emotional connection, whether you're a bad guy or a good guy. Is one of the reasons we're on Netflix now. I tell people all the time, I've never pretended in 28 years to be a professional wrestling announcer. I'm not.
What are you talking about?
I'm a narrator. I'm a storyteller. I'm a pitchman. I'm a play-by-play announcer.
Okay.
Somewhat. I embellish stories. I create characters. I'm a jack of all trades. And I think that's the one thing that when I first started my career here, one of the reasons the fans hated me because I wasn't a professional wrestling announcer. But I just think over the years they've come to respect the work ethic, and they also understand that, to your point, I've been a soundtrack for a couple of different generations now, not only within the business, but also the fans watching at home. And I think that people are beginning to understand now that, yeah, you know what? You don't have to call every single move in a wrestling match. You make sure you call the big spots, the big moments. But it's more important for me to explain to our audience who you guys are. And especially with Netflix, we have so many new viewers that are tuning in now. And I hear all over the country, wherever we travel, people coming up to us and saying, I've never watched WWE before. I never understood what it was. I thought it was a bunch of old men running around in tights. Now they're understanding that it's actually a television show, episodic, each and every week. And so one of my jobs now, which I love, is being able to educate this new audience on who you guys are. Like, who's Logan Paul? You know, who's John Cena? Who's Roman Reigns? But do that in a way where we're not insulting the old school fans. Who
already
understand
know
all that.
You're the Morgan Freeman Shawshank of Shawshank Redemption.
pretty
That
much.
is WWE.
Yes.
You're telling everybody about Andy's life.
Exactly.
And
what it is.
that's partially why I appreciate what you do so much, because I try to speak to the people who are getting absorbed into this universe as well. I'm not always like appealing to the current fans. I'm trying to bring people in and show them why we're special. But you mentioned it, your work ethic. Your work ethic is crazy. 28 years. You've only missed three shows.
3 shows. Yep. 3 television shows that I was assigned to. One was my wife had a kidney transplant back in 2001.
You get a pass?
Yes. The second one, my son.
Were you kind of mad at her for it happening on the time around the show?
So there's an interesting story
like
about
you were,
this.
dude, you couldn't have waited.
There's an interesting story about this though. Her brother-in-law was the one who was going to give the kidney. So
amazing.
Since he was a living donor, we could play around with the schedule. She was actually supposed to receive her kidney transplant and we lived in New Jersey at the time, on September 11th, 2001.
What?
And we were actually in the hospital that morning when everything happened. And they hadn't begun the procedure yet, so they shut everything down because obviously all the hospitals in the New York City area had to become a trauma center, right? So her transplant was put off for 3 weeks, and they rescheduled it for a Monday, which happened to be.
Could you imagine that happening like on a morning where you already have so much anxiety about what's about to happen, and then that happens?
It was we were in, obviously we were in the hospital, we were in the prep room, whatever, and we had no idea what was going on. And the place, the hospital, just it was utter complete panic. People were going. And we were like, what the heck is going on? Not going to have your procedure today. There's been a major accident in New York. And then we, of course, go outside. The TVs are in the lobby. This stuff is going on. And it was surreal.
Okay, so that's crazy.
That's one.
That's fine. You get a pass.
Second one was my son's wedding.
Another pass.
And then the third one was we actually took a family trip last year. For the first time, we were able to get everybody together.
I don't know about that last one.
My kids are older now, and I've got grandkids, so I took a family trip, so I actually got that off. But they were the three I missed.
Okay, how do you maintain the family environment and all the love if you're traveling every single week?
That's why I've been married 30 years. Yeah. I went to Syracuse University, and I started actually in news, in radio. I was a radio news journalist. And then back in the late 80s and the early 90s, radio news was that was the thing. Yeah. If you wanted to be a journalist, that's where you went. I mean, I traveled the world for CBS, and it was so great. But I met my wife at the time. She was a sales person at the station I was working at in Houston. And that's where I met her. So Yolanda's only known me as being a person that is on the road. So we've never had that. We got married, we were together 7 days a week, and then all of a sudden I'm flying around the world. She's never known that. She's always understood me as being a person that travels, and she knows I enjoy it. I also tell people I think I've been married so long and been with her for so long because, and you travel a lot, Logan. When you are home, and those are very precious times and very precious days to be in, you don't want to argue and fight with your wife when you're at home. Because then what are you going to do? You go on the road for 5 days and now you're miserable again. So I think that's one of the reasons. And we have great lives. I get on the road. I get to hang out with my buddies. She's at home. She hangs out with her girlfriends. And then when we're together, it's me and her.
So, I mean, obviously,
perfect,
when we're home, we don't want to fight with our partners.
Exactly.
But, it's inevitable, I feel like.
I mean, sometimes. It depends. Listen, the older you
Is
get...
it not? Do you not fight with your...
Not anymore. Not anymore.
How long did that happen for?
I
Just
think,
out of curiosity, if someone was in a metaphorical relationship and there was fighting.
Maybe, I think, the first few years, I think in a marriage are always rough. I know my kids have gone through that too. They're both married. But I think as the years move along and you understand that hopefully, not this isn't for everyone, but like she's my best friend. She's my life partner. I knew that the day that I met her. And I think that as you get older, you just don't want to waste valuable time arguing over silly shit. Most arguments are silly, stupid
Is there an age?
shit.
Is there an age gap?
My wife is 4.5 years older than me.
4.5. So it's not that big.
No, not at all.
Because that's funny you say like as you get older. That's why if you date like someone that's younger than you, they sometimes will still want to argue because they're not older.
Right. They're not
You know
older.
what I'm
They don't
saying?
understand that, you know? And the thing with me and Yoli is we had kids at a very young age. We were in our early 20s when we had our children. So we were empty nested by the time we were 40. And that gave us a lot of time together. She could travel on the road with me, go to different shows and stuff. And, you know, she's not a wrestling fan, but she likes to go to the cities. And then now we have grandkids, right? So we have, I've got a little 3-year-old grandson that runs around, which is unbelievable. I love it. But you know, she understands too, like we live in Texas, love San Antonio, got a nice ranch out in West Texas. And we get to spend a lot of time there, which is really cool. But, you know, for us, you know, I had a very long conversation with her. I just signed a brand new contract with the company, so I'm going to be here for a number of years.
Wow, cool.
Balling.
Yeah, and I mean, but the company really made me feel, you know, really for the first time that I was really important to this place.
What? And after 28 years?
Yeah, after 28 years.
Sometimes.
Why? Because the paycheck?
Oh, the paycheck's part of it, but the new regime had a lot to do with it. But when I went to sign the new deal, I sat down with my wife, and you know, I'm 58 years old now, and I'm like, they want to get me to retirement age, and is this because we had talked about me getting out of this for a long while now, just because of the travel and everything else, and she was like, you got to do it. This is your legacy. Like you're going to be miserable if you don't finish this up the way you want to finish it up. And she was great about it. And so she was 100% on board with it. And so I'm here for a while.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate
On that
it.
note,
What?
What are they doing to my guy Corey Graves?
That's a strange situation. I love Corey.
Me too.
Love him to death. I still don't understand all the dynamics of it. I know that he sent something out on social media that was pretty critical of the company. You know, he tried to explain to everyone that he was trying to generate some interest in maybe a type of a storyline. I don't think the company saw. I don't think the company saw it that way.
It was not a work.
Right, and
it was a shoot.
Yes,
allegedly.
Allegedly,
Oh,
but
man.
so and again, I think him and the company are working that out. I love Corey to death. He's an unbelievable commentator. Beside McAfee, he's probably the best partner I've ever had.
Dude, you guys are like such a good duo to me. And I personally love Corey as well.
Yep.
He's a great person, but I also think his work is fantastic. I seriously have like a very special spot in my heart for commentators because like the work you guys do, even just Michael, you're there all day. All day.
You have to be,
Even
especially-
announcing the pre-show matches.
Yeah. Well, and look at Logan. Look at the Rumble this weekend. I mean, there was 60 people involved in 2 Rumble matches. Then you had a tag team match and a championship match. I have to be able to put together the numbers and the statistics and the stories of everyone.
Dude, it's insane.
And make it different. And I think one of the things about the old regime, and listen, I will never, ever disparage Vince McMahon. Yeah, he's got his personal issues and whatnot. But from a professional standpoint, I'll never disparage the man. I would not be here today without Vince. Like
No one would.
He gave me everything. Stuck with me when I was learning to be a wrestling guy. Wasn't a wrestling guy when I came here.
Why do you think he believed in you so much?
I think a lot of it really had to do. I think there were 2 things. You know, Jim Ross obviously was the man. I still think the greatest ever. I think Vince was understood that JR was getting older and he needed to bring in somebody younger. And so I just think because of my background, and I was a good announcer at the time, I just think JR came to the WWE already a wrestling guy. And I think me being new and fresh and not a wrestling guy, Vince was able to mold me how he wanted me to be an announcer.
Interesting.
And he stuck with it. And even when I sucked in the beginning and everything else, and the fans freaking hated me, Vince stuck with me.
That's kind of interesting, though, because Vince is pretty cutthroat.
Yes. That's why I talk to Michael Hayes about this all the time. It's amazing that I've lasted in this company this long because Vince there were certain things that would set that man off, right? And he would just go. He would just like, okay, you're done, fired, see ya.
Yeah.
Like for sometimes for no reason.
Yeah.
But he stuck with me 100% of the time, and so I'll never disparage the man. But Vince was very, very heavy-handed, controlled. It was his company, his sandbox, to whatever you want. So I never was really able to break out and be myself, with the exception of a little bit of a heel run I had, over a decade ago. But when Vince left and Paul came and was in charge, Triple H, he really changed things. And then we brought in Lee Fitting, who came from ESPN.
Yep.
And Lee coming from ESPN, where the talent is the announcer, he came here and said, I don't understand why our guys at the desk aren't, bigger and have bigger personas and are as respected as the people in the ring. And, being old school, I understand that you guys in the ring and the girls in the ring, they're the ones putting their bodies on the line each and every week. And people are buying tickets to see Roman Reigns. They're not buying tickets to see Michael Cole. But as you said earlier, we're a very important part of the product.
Super.
What Lee and Paul have allowed us to do is bring our personalities out. And, you're seeing the real Michael Cole now.
The Michael Cole that crowd surfs.
Exactly. The guy who crowd surfs. We'll talk about that in a second. But you're seeing, I'm a sarcastic prick at times, and I like to have fun. And like Pat called me the other day, I'm the old white dude, right? And he's the young, he's the young punk, right? Well, he's in his late 30s,
young white dude.
Yeah, young white dude.
Yeah, I guess so.
but Pat, like working with him is unbelievable, because Pat, we were talking about this before we got in here today. Pat is.
Pag oras na para magsama-sama ang pamilya, ang ever-ready super heavy duty ay my trusted quality.
Pat. But he doesn't change. He doesn't put on a show or anything.
No.
He's Pat McAfee in everything that he does. So, we hit it off. We had to just hit it off from the beginning. And it's like two guys sitting at a bar and watching wrestling. That's what it is,
That's cool.
Yeah, and
that's such a vibe.
That's what it is. And Pat doesn't try to be a wrestling announcer, and
No.
I think that's what makes him different.
I actually have a note on that at the top you were just talking about. With every passing day and second passing at the sands of, I feel the wrenching feeling of existential. This is
What the hell are you doing?
This is for my therapist. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That was the wrong note. I'm so sorry, Leslie. I will be at the meeting on Tuesday. Pat McAfee described your pants as too tight while you were crowd surfing the other day. Called you a booze bag and a doofus.
Yeah.
Do you have a response? For
Yeah,
that?
he's right on every single take on that. I am a booze bag, just like you guys. I was out last night till 2:30 in the morning.
Come on,
No, but the crowd surfing thing was wild.
I saw that.
This would have never happened. That would have never happened under Vince McMahon.
Really?
Michael Cole yeeting on a table would never happen. Trying to dap up rappers would have never happened under Vince McMahon. But the crowd surfing thing, Cody comes out and he's like, "Okay, we got to do this thing," and I'm like, "Do what? Oh God, here we go. What's gonna happen now?" And then he says, "You're gonna crowd surf." And I'm like, "Crowd surf? You got to be kidding me!" So then he goes, "It's easy. Look at," and we look down. It's a 6-foot drop. And I'm not jumping down there. I'm 50 years old. I'll kill myself. So I actually fall on my ass, look like a dummy. And then I get into the crowd and I'm doing the whole thing and I'm getting my junk grabbed and people are sticking
they're grabbing your cheeks.
Good thing I moved my wallet to my sport jacket. But I'd never done it before in my life.
But you did. Now you did it.
Yes. But even as a kid, I'd never done it.
That
right?
was your first crowd surf?
So I find out afterward, Cody's explaining to me, well, I should have told you how to do this. You got to keep your legs closed. You got to be rigid. And I was flip-flopping all over the place like Gumby.
We probably trusted the fact that there's a bunch of dudes in the audience. They weren't going to be grabbing.
Yeah, but if some of those people don't like me, right? But that was wild. That was the first time I'd done. But again, I would have never the whole social media thing. I'm finally starting to understand it now. I appreciate so much what you've accomplished and what Pat's accomplished and all these guys. I Show Speed, of course, who's in the Rumble. I never understood any of that stuff, but I am beginning to understand it now. And now I find myself, actually going to X and going to Instagram and being entertained and understanding that this is the way of the world now.
Damn.
And also understand, and McAfee was very important in helping me understand all this stuff. But now, doing silly shit, I don't tweet much, but me and Pat will get together on Monday and put out a controversial tweet or something, and then I just like to sit there and watch all the responses to it or whatever. But just seeing
sounds like us, man.
Just seeing how exciting it is, though. getting on a table last night with Wade and Pat and just yeeting and getting in a ring and yeeting with Jay and looking like a bird flopping my wings, but then going on looking at social media and just saying, oh my God, this is pretty cool. People actually like this, or they hate it, but it doesn't matter. Right? People are talking about it. And to me, that's really cool. But again, I'm having the most fun I've ever had in my career here.
Amazing.
We can tell. We can tell, bro. You're like lighting up talking about this stuff. And it's so cool that you have this new contract, and it sounds like it's probably going to be the most exciting, like most you part of your career, which is sick.
Netflix was also a big part of this. I really, the cool thing, I've been able to be a part of a lot of changes in our company over the years. First time we did network TV on UPN, I was there. Spike TV back in the day, of course, USA Network. I was the guy on Fox, which was really important to me because I really wanted to be able to call a network television show. And then the Netflix thing was like, I have to be a part of that. Like that was, you know, what a game changer for everything.
Super cool.
Yeah,
super cool. It's like it's the new forefront of like, you know, live TV meets a streaming network, and we're at the front of it.
Yep.
I wanted to ask, because you were talking about the chemistry that you and Pat have. How important is it to have chemistry with the person that you're commentating with?
Have to. You cannot do your job. I've been blessed with being able to get along with most of my broadcast partners over the years, and I've worked with so many of them.
Yeah.
I've always gotten along with everyone. They've respected my work. I understand their work. But with Pat, it's different. Pat and I are really good friends. So Pat was he's always a wrestling fan.
Yep.
His whole life. He came to one of our house shows in Indiana a number of years ago.
Yep.
And we just started talking. And he's like, I'd like to try this. And I'm like, well, what, you know, he was at Barstool at the time.
Yep.
And we're like, why don't you come in and start doing some stuff with NXT? And he came in and he started doing the countdown shows and all that. And me and him got really, really close. And then our relationship imploded for a night because at WrestleMania a number of years ago, I'm no longer in charge of the announcers. I used to not only be an announcer, but I was in charge of all the announcers. So I was a VP in the company doing all that. And so
Launch attack.
we brought Pat in to do the WrestleMania kickoff show. And, you know, everybody at WrestleMania is tuxes and ties and the whole 9 yards. And Pat shows up in shorts.
Yeah.
Now, they were tuxedo shorts, but he shows up in shorts. So now we're about to go on the air live. It's all this pressure. I see Pat walk into the Gorilla with these shorts on, and I'm like, in front of everybody, which is my bad. What the fuck are you doing? Dude, you're in fucking shorts. It's WrestleMania. Stephanie McMahon's there. Vince is there. All these people are there. I'm dressing down Pat.
You little bro'd him.
I did. Yeah. And in heat of the moment, I didn't think about it. Then he stormed off. And I'm like, where the fuck are you going? I'm not doing the show. He goes back. He's packing his bag in the locker room to leave. He goes, you just embarrassed me in front of everybody in this company. Bro. I'm like, and I never thought of it that way. But he was right. Now,
what do you mean? He just called out him wearing shorts.
Yeah, but that's more of a result of the fact that you had like this hybrid talent management and co-host
that sucked.
role.
It did. It sucked.
And that's why you had to get rid of that.
Exactly.
Ironically, I've worked in that situation before too. When I was doing shit with Maverick, and you would tell me to go fucking scold people.
It's hard because these guys are your peers, right? And you're working on the air with them. Then you're also managing them. Thank God I got out of that. But then Pat, he's going to pack his bags and leave, and we ended up working it out. We showed Vince the shorts, and Vince was, of course, Vince. It was great. Why are you yelling at him? Because he just likes to stir the shit, right? So it's wild, man. And then and ever since then, I think that brought us closer together, and we've been best friends since.
That's so cool.
I'm doing a show this week, before we go up to Raw, and it's cool. But it comes out on air, like. You can tell, like, you guys are buds, right? And it's just this great chemistry that you all have. Pat and I are friends. We talk all the time.
Yeah.
And it just comes out.
Is there, so when I first started like really paying attention to the dynamics that were happening in the ring and in the commentary table, it seemed like there was like a heel announcer and a babyface announcer.
Yep, that was always the formula.
With you and Pat, is that
so
existent?
This is by design. We have two completely separate sounding announce teams now for the first time in a very long time. Everybody, once Vince molded Michael Cole over the years, every person we brought into this company since then, Vince wanted to be Michael Cole. And that is why a lot of these guys who are great broadcasters were never successful.
Okay.
Because they couldn't be me, and Vince wanted them to be me. What Lee Fitting and Paul have done now, and Nick Khan, is we've developed two completely different announce teams now. So now on Fridays you have Joe Tessitore, who's a pro.
Yeah, he's great.
Unbelievable. But he's not me. He's completely different than me. He's more of a professional broadcaster. And he doesn't jump up and down and act like an idiot sometimes and scream and yell like I scream. I'm a screamer. Been that way for 28 years. Nobody ever changed me. Joe's more relaxed. And then he's got Wade Barrett, who's great, and Wade's a heel, right? Pat and I are different. They wanted us to be different. Like I said before, we're just two guys sitting on a couch drinking a beer, watching the show.
That's what it sounds like.
And I don't think, the heel dynamic's fun, right? But I think our fans are so sophisticated now. This isn't your.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, very much so.
Just because sometimes I walk and like when I'm walking down the aisle and I'm looking out, and sophistication is the last word that comes to mind.
I really
see these people like that. Trust me, Michael. I look them in the eyes and like sometimes I'm like, whoa, there's nothing going on.
Well, he's doing his heel thing.
Yeah, of course.
No, I'm serious.
No, but there are those like that. But I mean, our audience is so different now than it was.
It's harder for us. It's harder for us to do it because we're not the heel. So he's like, shit. What do I do here?
I don't want to bury the audience, but yeah, when I was a heel, I loved to bury the audience. But no, I really do think though, Logan, seriously, that our audience is a lot more sophisticated now than they were before. We don't have to shove things down their throats now. They get it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I don't have to. Explain every single thing of everything. Oh my God, I think he's a bad guy now. No, let the fans figure that out.
So I wanted to ask about that. This is the thing I'm most curious about. How much of the storytelling are you keyed in ahead of time or calling on the spot because you're following it and kind of crafting it yourself? Like are producers in your ear telling you like little spots to look out for? Like what's the actual art of crafting the things that you're saying?
So no one's in my ear anymore. Vince was a lot, but again, it was his world. You know,
what would he say?
Hey, what the fuck was that? He would say anything like, give me great advice or call me a fucking moron or seriously. I mean, it just whatever mood he was in and whatever I did. Most of it was constructive criticism. It really was. I mean, there were days where Vince would just be Vince, but I think this whole Vince screamed at Michael Cole for 25 years thing is way overblown. I mean, there are moments, but it's going to happen in a relationship for that long.
Yeah.
But to your point, first off, Pat McAfee knows nothing. Pat doesn't want to know anything. He doesn't want to know anything that's going on in the show. He wants to go out there and just be him and
intentionally.
He's like you in our Pokemon box breaks.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. A lot of this, the question asking that's coming out of him right now, and would be for me as well, is like, we can relate to this.
Yeah.
Like someone's level of preparation. A lot of times, like depending on the episode, he'll come super prepared. I'll purposely, intentionally not even look at the PDF.
Yep.
I want to come into this the same way the audience is. I want to figure this person out as I sit there. That's why like this whole conversation is super interesting to us.
And that's Pat doesn't want to know anything, which makes him Pat.
Yeah.
I need to be prepared because I don't know every single step of every single thing that's going to happen, but I need to understand storylines. I need to understand where we're going to go with certain characters so I can sort of lead the audience in that direction because I am the narrator, right? So you want to make sure that you're leading the audience a certain way.
You're the baseline, and you're going to keep that DNA and that through line of the story going, and Pat is the action points.
Yep, exactly. And then like, for instance, at the Rumble, I'll sit at ringside all day, like Logan said, and the guys and girls will come up and talk to me. And like Gargano and Ciampa, the tag champs, DIY, came up to me and they explained their whole outlay of their match because there were some certain little things that I had to know about to be able to bring forward in the story and explain why these things were happening. And also at the end, Street Profits got involved and people were like, why are they getting involved? So I needed to have that knowledge to explain to the audience why this is happening.
That's what I'm talking about.
So those are the things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we've done stuff like that before with you. Even the right hand, the titanium rod, and you've reinforced
the brass
that
knuckles.
To the audience.
I remember talking to you before the Roman match because that was biggest match of your career to that point.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to you guys about that match and just little storyline things that I had to get in to help you. So it was, I mean, that stuff's really, really important because, again, our job, first and foremost, is to enhance our talent. And the better our talent get from a story standpoint and the more emotionally invested our fans get in our talent, obviously we sell more tickets and more people watch the show.
Yep.
So,
okay, when you made the jump from radio to WWE, like, and you weren't a massive wrestling fan.
I was as a kid, but
Yeah. Same.
Right. Yeah.
How and why?
So it's sort of a long story, but I need it to explain how this happened. So I was in radio news in Texas, traveling all the time, much more than I do now. And we were young and into our marriage, and I got transferred to New York to work for CBS in New York, and they promised me that you're just going to work out of the city, so I'll be home all the time. And well, I got there, and I ended up in '96 going out and covering I had covered Bill Clinton's campaign in '92. '96, I had covered Bob Dole's campaign, and
what a job!
Well, I want to talk about this after the presidential side.
I was out that entire year, '96.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, "What the hell are you doing?" First off, you moved my ass from Texas to New York, and now you're not even home.
Just on the campaign trail.
So Todd Pettengill, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. Todd Pettengill used to work in our company, but he was a huge radio DJ in New York at WPLJ, which was a powerhouse at the time in the '90s. And I had worked with Todd for a while in radio. He was working here, and he was going to leave the company. He said, "Hey, come in for an audition." So I came in and did an audition and didn't hear for a few months. But then they said, "You want to come work here?" So I figured, listen, I'm in radio now. I have no television experience. Let me go try this job for a couple of years, get some TV experience, get a tape under my belt, and I'll leave and go back and work at CNN or somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, 28 years later, I'm still here. So it just turned into a love, just this whole business.
But by this point, you know the moves. You're very.
I don't even call them half the time though. It's just you don't have to.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you don't. It's the drama. You know, sometimes you talk to hardcore fans and they get all hung up on, oh, he didn't call out a Canadian destroyer. He didn't know the name of the move. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Seriously, it's the story. That's what people care about.
Do you know why I relate to this? It feels like Karate Combat.
Really?
100%. So I commentate a really up and coming karate pit-based karate league, and like walking into this and being brought on because of energy and bravado and comedy because they want it, and social media, pull as well. To sit there next to GSP and Boss Rutan and talk about insane, like legends of the game, right? And to talk about, jujitsu and grappling and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there like, were there moments where you were like, I can't do this? Like,
dude, I didn't know. So the funny thing about it is when I started in this company in '97, WCW starts kicking our ass.
Yep.
And then the screw job happens in Montreal with Bret Hart and Vince and Shawn Michaels. And I go home, and my wife's like, "What are you doing? Your company is about you just
what
left.
What are you doing with your life?
You just left a lucrative job at CBS to go to this circus. You've been here 6 months, and now all of a sudden the company's going to go out of business because we thought we were going to go out of business.
Yeah.
It was wild. What saved me in this business in the beginning was when I first started. Our producer at the time, Kevin Dunn, said, "You know nothing about wrestling, but we think you're a good broadcaster. You need to learn the business." So they sent me out on the road every single weekend to our live events, which we were running every weekend at the time. And I rode with JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, the old cowboy who, one of my really good friends. He taught me the business in the car. My job was to make sure that there was beer and whiskey in the car after every show so I could drive them to the next town. But that's how I learned, all right? And I spent a year with these guys. And, excuse me, that's how I learned the business. And then, of course, with Michael Hayes and Paul Heyman and guys like that. But, there were times where I was like, I made a huge mistake here. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then Jim Ross ended up getting sick in 1998, and they threw me out there for 4 or 5 months on the main shows. And I really was, I was green. I was like, this is wild. Like, I better start looking for another job. Like,
whoa.
Yeah.
And you're also at the same time, like, who were you commentating with or announcing with at the time?
Jerry the King Lawler
come
at that
on,
time.
dude.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're
who I actually beat at WrestleMania.
Yeah. but you're going out there and it's like, you're trying to, not only are you trying to announce for the first big shows yourself, but you have to learn the synergy like this immediately. And that's one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing took, at least 60, 70 episodes to get to a point where it was like a semi-honed, and now it's a product, right?
Yep.
But like, that must have been very hard to do in real time on main broadcast.
And especially when it comes to wrestling, because as you know, our fans are the hardest, they're the most loyal. They're also the hardest fans in the world. Judgmental. Yeah. I mean, it was hard. And, thank God, I always tell people this, thank God that back in the late 90s, there was no social media. Because I don't know if I'd be here today. if there was social media.
What do you mean by that?
Well, just the way that everyone has a voice, and I know at the time 99% of the world would have hated Michael Cole, and I probably wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a wild time.
Well, do you feel like that? Because one thing I've noticed, having been around the business a little bit with him, is the hatred is an equal value currency as love in this org, right? And so it's like it's an attention, a currency of attention. And so even if they were all day, we fucking hate this. Does it change when it comes to the commentary crew?
There's two types of heat. There's the heat you're talking about, which is the Logan Paul heat, when he walks out and people boo him.
Yeah.
And it's not because they hate Logan, it's just because he plays this character that people don't like.
It's not a character.
Well, I know. Well, I was trying to be nice. But but then there is what they call go away heat.
Oh, they consider a bad product.
Yes,
almost.
they just consider it's a bad character, it's a bad product, it's a bad person on the air. We had some announcers recently that just didn't work out because, and you could go online and 99% of the people hated him, and at that point, like, you feel inside yourself like this guy's not going to make it, and then when you realize and you listen to some of that, he's not going to make it.
Yeah. I think I have go away heat.
You think so?
The only reason why it works is because I'm a great wrestler.
You are.
I'm not.
No, but
I'm not, like
that's why you don't have go.
No.
That's what he's saying is
not like.
Dreams do come true. Gold. Nasa McDonald's.
Certainly, there's a handful of the audience that is genuinely like, get this guy out of here.
Because they're jealous.
Yeah, that's different. You
No, they are, seriously.
Yeah.
They're jealous of you. I get that a lot too.
That's what Pam said.
I know, that's why I was like,
But
my
no,
mom said the same.
But Logan, they're jealous of you. I mean, look what you've accomplished since you've come to WWE. Not only here, I mean, look what you accomplished in your life. But I mean, it's the same thing for us. Like, people sitting at home watching a show. Well, oh my God, Michael Cole sucks. He didn't know the name of that move or this or that. I would. First off, they're mad because they don't have my job. Second off, put them in that chair. Sit in that chair.
No, dude, your job is fucking crazy, Michael. I'm not kidding.
But people don't get it.
I know. I get it, which is why I have so much respect for you and the commentating team. I would rather do what I do than have to do what you do. Dude, how do you talk so much and not get tired?
I'm surprised I have a voice today because I blew it last night. I get tired. Don't get me, especially as I get older, and I really have to take care of myself now. I eat right. I still like my whiskey, but work out. And seriously, at my age, my wife's always like, why are you going to the gym again? I go every day because it's not because I want to. Obviously, you got to look halfway decent when you're in television, right? Yeah. But as you get older, your body starts to break down.
Yeah.
And this job is very taxing, both mentally and physically. And people don't understand the physical things of it. 3.5 hours jumping up and down, screaming, yelling, it's hard. So you got to try to stay in shape for that, which as I get older, I realize I need to do that. But our vocal cords.
It's because you're thinking about it. It's because you're thinking about it.
Our vocal cords are muscles. And just like anything else, I utilize those muscles at a very high level every week.
Oh, I get it.
And it has, now these muscles are they're in shape now, right? And so it's funny seeing broadcasters come into our business for the first time from other realms and try to do what we do. Yeah. It takes them a long time. Yeah. I remember one of our announcers, Kevin Egan, he works with MLS now, but he had a terrible time, like with his voice, like his first few months here, he could not. He wasn't in shape to do this.
Dude, not even just the amount of talking. You have to be on. That's like I could probably do this podcast audio and have like we've done 3 in a row, maybe some days like 4 in a row, and it's all right. But live TV, having to be on is like, that's the real drain for me.
There's no net, right? It is live, and you got, and especially in this day and age, you got to be very, very careful what you say. Obviously, especially on even with Netflix. Like, we thought we were going to be able to get away with a few other things, but Netflix is very strict with that too.
I heard this.
Yeah,
yes. And people told me they're actually a little more.
So guys like us that are talking live, especially working with Pat, who's got he's got no buffer. He's just Pat. You got to be really careful sometimes what you say, especially, and that's another reason. And Pat keeps me young too. I've got to keep up to date with the phrases the kids use today and stuff like that, and make sure
Try to make sure you have the right aura.
Well, yeah, also make sure that I'm not saying stuff that
Isn't LT.
Has like
right,
changed into a different. And also one thing I've noticed too, and maybe you noticed it, is like for some of the longer stuff, like some of these events that I do with Karate Combat are like 6-7 hours long.
Right.
By hour 4 or 5, that barrier of like, should I say this or not say this, starts to kind of like melt away a
Because
little
you're getting
bit.
a headache,
Bro, you're
tired,
starting to become mush.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden things are coming out of your mouth. You're like, wait a second, did I say that? Am I here? What's that? Like, what's going on right
and
now?
the problem with our stuff, to your point, Logan, too, is it's not just being on because it's live television. Every single match and character have to be given the same respect and gravity.
Yeah.
So I can't treat Logan Paul any differently than I treat Ludwig Kaiser, or I can't treat Roman Reigns. So, like at the Rumble, I've got to be high energy for every woman's entrance for 30. And then obviously as you get close to the finish and the big moves and putting everybody over, then you've got to be able to treat the tag team match with a new group, Motor City Machine Guns, at the same level you would treat the women at, because you don't want to feel like you're disrespecting them. Then you go into the Cody match, which is just an intense ladder match, right? That's a championship match, so you got to be up here. And then of course the Rumble, men's Rumble, which is the biggest event of the year, last.
So you're like saving up energy.
Well, it's hard because you got to keep that energy level the whole way. And then now you got 30 men entering, and last night, you were in there. That last 6 in that match, I had goosebumps. It was incredible.
Insane.
You had Hall of Famers in there. Did you think about that at all?
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps now.
It was. I mean, you're in there with guys: John Cena, Seth Rollins,
Punk,
Roman Reigns, Jey Uso.
No, that was insane.
Insane.
I looked around. I was looking at these guys, and I was just like, damn. I'm right at home.
Right. No, I know, but you felt it.
I was like,
but you
I'm
know
along in this
damn well
circle.
deep down inside you were going, how the hell am I even here?
Not at all. Not at all. I was like, I honestly was like, how the hell is CM Punk still here? But I was the original Yeet, by the way.
You were?
Yeah, that is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
When did this happen?
Yeah,
years ago.
Years. Oh man.
In fact, I thought we had put that in a bulletproof coffin.
So
I thought that was dumb.
So
too.
did Jay steal it from you?
Yes, and I'm sending him a cease and desist. I'm actually sending him a cease and desist.
Oh my god.
Not a work. He will be getting a cease and desist, and I'm collecting everything. Everything.
Well, now he's the main eventer, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's talk about the other commentators in big sports, even under the TKO umbrella, the UFC.
Yeah.
When you look at guys like Joe Rogan, John Anik, even Daniel Cormier, Bruce Buffer.
Yeah.
It's funny. He came on this podcast and he was saying the same thing about how he works out and he's got to stay in shape because Bruce goes hard.
Yeah.
When you look at guys like this, is it?
See the soup? It has big bits. Very mindful. Try this meal today.
Do you kind of see eye to eye, and is it like a respect that only like a commentator can understand?
There is a respect, and one of the things that was really cool is when Joe Tessitore came aboard. Joe's a boxing guy, right?
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot from Joe about combat sports. And when Joe came aboard, to me, a lot of people loved the hire, a lot of people didn't like the hire, but to me, I loved it because I felt like it finally legitimized what I've done for 28 years. We brought a real, true life, legendary commentator who's called Monday Night Football and college football and everything else. He wanted to work here.
Yeah.
He came to us to work here, and we brought him aboard, and that to me legitimized everything I did.
So cool.
And I think there is that. I love Joe Rogan. I mean, his stuff is. He's a screamer and yeller emotionally. He's like me, right?
Yeah.
I just think across the board, we commentators are this fraternity because for so many years we didn't get the respect I think that we deserved. But now in this new era, not only in wrestling but just in life and in the world, we're finally getting respect and we're becoming personalities.
Dude, I think social media is part of the reason for that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can build your personal brand and dude, you have an entrance now.
Yeah.
It's usually
And people actually cheer.
Yeah, they cheer. They always cheer before the show starts, or you know, there's little like pre-shows. We did one at the HQ. Man, they love you because you're building your personal brand, and then you just get to like people just get to listen to you. You're doing podcasts back to back to back to back to back every week.
And I think too, you know, Logan, the thing about that is the big thing for me is I'm finally myself. Like, I think people looked at me as a corporate stooge, right, for Vince McMahon for so many years. And I really was a Vince puppet. And I'll admit that. And I would never, ever trade that for anything because I learned so much under the man from a professional standpoint. But I think in the last few years since Pat came aboard, you know, I've just decided, fuck it, I'm myself. I'm going to be Sean Coulthard, my real name, right? I'm gonna be that. I'm gonna be the person that my friends know, the people that when I go have a drink at a bar, the guy who's sarcastic and laughs and has fun and loves this business because I really do. Everything is given to me in my life, but it's fun, right?
I wasn't aware of how like down to earth you were.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And
am I usually a prick?
We never really know what to think of, you know.
No, I don't know. I mean, bro, like you literally are like the voice of the WWE
for generations,
for 28 years. And so like, I don't fucking know. You, in my opinion, you have every right to be like, fuck
dude, but that's not people's default. You always.
No, I listen.
Know. We live in Hollywood. We used to live in Hollywood.
I still do. We meet some shitty people. But the majority of people are usually pretty good.
They're getting better because they have to.
They have to.
But then you have the like, and I'll just say it.
Oh, I hope is somebody getting called out?
I mean, I don't know, bro. This whole like Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds situation.
Oh my God,
are you filled in on it? Do you know?
And they just seem so fucking out of touch.
Right?
With, like they're just not living in reality, and like people lose themselves in their own truth.
It happens in our business.
Yeah.
You know, people think they come into their stars and then they're going to leave and be a star outside of here. It doesn't happen. Sorry.
No.
You know, our product makes you. I'm sorry.
100. Dude, come on.
I mean, there's very few Logan Pauls that come into our world and are successful. Most people get successful here. They think they can leave. Who's done
this
it?
is
Cena, Batista, and Rock.
Rock, yeah. This is one of the biggest. This is possibly the biggest example of it. Like it is. Like think about it. When you talk to people outside of the WWE sphere about what happened at Rumble, last time Speed came out. What the fuck are you talking about,
dude,
man? What are you talking about? Did you hear about the tariffs? What are you saying right now?
90% of the world don't even know what wrestling is.
But that 10%. There's nothing like it.
So I think my wife is the main reason that I am the way I am. She's not a wrestling fan, doesn't watch a product. I go home and the last thing I talk about is WWE.
Really?
Never.
Keeps you grounded.
She was more excited when I told her this morning I was going to do Logan Paul's podcast than she was about anything else.
Hell yeah.
And I'm doing Pat McAfee's show tomorrow, and she was more excited about me doing that than anything else. So,
but more excited about the impulsive.
More excited, 100%.
Yeah, got
it. But she keeps me grounded. She really does. I go home and I'm with her. But listen, dude, I was brought up in upstate New York, and I'm in Texas now. I got a ranch, and I'm an old redneck. Like,
hell yeah.
I dip tobacco. I drink beer, and I like my whiskey. And last night, that's why I always stay away from downtown in these cities. Like, I don't want that scene. Like, me and Wade Barrett went up to the bar last night.
Yeah, what'd you guys do?
We sat at the bar till 2:30 in the morning.
Just talk shit?
And didn't even talk about wrestling. Like, just talked about life, right?
No way.
And it was great. It was that's me. That's what I want. I'm gonna leave here today and go sit in my hotel room the rest of the day, right? So
well, I don't know about that last part there.
What are you gonna?
Meron na akong 20k Dias pero dahil sa laki ng discount at bilis ng transaction, kaya bibili pa rin ako sa Coco DP. I-click natin yung link.
Just gonna sit there?
Well, I'm chilling today because we're going up to Cleveland tomorrow.
But what will you do in the room?
I'll watch. I'm back into The Sopranos now, so
I'm rerunning this.
Yeah, I'm rerunning.
You've already watched it all.
Oh yeah, watch. This is the third time I've actually
greatest series of all time.
Greatest series of all time.
Nothing touching.
The Wire is close too.
I love The Wire.
But Sopranos is nothing now, and I love going back now because even 25 years later, it's still timeless.
I'm rewatching season 2 of it right now, which by the way is potentially the best season.
I'm a season 3 guy.
You really
You've never seen it?
He's a little bit younger.
He's been telling me for our entire relationship.
It's the
There
greatest.
has never
Yeah.
been a bad episode. My favorite episode is Pine Barrens. When,
Of course. Well, that's
Paulie
the
and
most
Chrissy,
famous
yeah,
episode.
Yeah.
They saying he was an interior decorator.
It's so
Bro,
great.
it's
It's
the
just-
greatest series.
oh.
Maybe the problem for a lot of watchers, new viewers on it, is you do have to invest a little bit in season one.
You have
I
to.
think they're piloting. They're trying to get people excited about the show. They're trying new things. Like, what was they? The character in episode one that went into the
Yeah.
store when Christopher was
Yeah.
ordering the food, comes back as a completely different
Different
character. Who
late-
was that?
yeah.
I can't remember.
I
who
can't
it was
remember.
now, yeah.
But how can you not get hooked though with Chrissy and Tony driving the car through the plaza and running that guy over and beating the shit out of him? Remember? How do you not hooked on that?
Logan,
you got to
have
watch.
to do it.
You have to.
He feels out. He feels out. And he's,
No, I'm more interested in like Beast Games, you know,
Yeah.
or like Severance.
God damn it.
Severance
Well,
is
bro,
great
those are
too,
great
by the way.
programs.
Have you started the second? Have you started?
No, I'm so
So
excited.
we're one episode in the second season. Holy shit!
I heard it's even more rich and potentially better than
it's
season one.
Season one, I didn't know if I was going to make it through it initially.
Yeah.
Like the first few episodes,
Yeah.
same thing with
Yep.
Sopranos. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know about this, and then oh my god,
Dude, it is the only show where the last episode of season one, I felt like this perfect mix of like fully fulfilled in terms of the questions I wanted answered and all the plot like holes I needed
Yeah.
to fill, but also I need more.
yes,
What
and
is happening?
Where it ends, it's like, oh my god.
Oh
Wait
my
till you see how
God.
season 2 starts.
they waited a while
3
between
years.
seasons.
Yeah,
Because it was that like
you know Ben Stiller directed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as like shows now, like it's comparatively to what HBO was doing on Sunday nights, 15 whatever it was
Yeah.
years ago. It's that, and then have you guys been watching Succession?
yes.
You watch,
Succession.
from what I understand, is equal,
Awesome.
like equally good.
Unbelievable. There's and then I just finished American Primeval on
Oh,
Netflix.
yeah,
I heard
how's
that's
that?
as well.
Violent as shit.
Really?
It's really, really good. Peter Berg's just awesome.
I'm
director.
watching. Maybe you guys haven't seen this, but I'm watching Fallout, which is based on the video game
Oh yeah,
Fallout.
I've heard of
Beast
that. I haven't
Games
seen it.
did better than it.
Oh, were they around the same time?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
different products.
Yeah, I know, but it's still just like I don't know. I'm proud of my boy Jimmy. Have you watched Beast Games?
No, not at all.
Give it a shot.
Okay,
That show
I
is
will.
fucking sick.
I gotta tell my wife. She's my wife's the one who makes me sit down and watch this stuff. I'm antsy. Like she's B, I'm A personality.
Yeah,
Like, so I'm
yeah,
always
yeah.
like I'm up
Yeah.
5 a.m. with the dogs running around. But
Do you feel? How do you feel about that opposite situation? I mean, it works for you.
oh my god, greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
What I've had to learn though, as I've grown through my marriage, is because I'm intense. And I think
It's a lot. It's a lot to deal
so
with.
I think it's why I'm good at my job too, right? But I think, and she's so laid back, and she's retired now, so she's just like, oh, I'm gonna sleep till 10 o'clock, and I'm up at 5 with the dogs, the gym. I've learned to temper my intensity, and that's just helped. Like I'm one of the, I'm like an OCD guy. Like I have my calendar, right, and I got to go through my calendar and make sure that everything is checked off every day.
You should get the big ass calendar. Do you
Oh,
have
really?
it?
No,
there's,
I don't.
There's a big ass calendar.
There is.
It's huge. It's
Oh.
a big ass calendar.
Shout out Jesse Itzler.
Our boy Jesse Itzler made it, and everyone has
Okay.
one. You should get one.
Get it online?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
No, we'll just get. We can probably just have him
Map out
give
your
us
whole year.
address.
Oh,
We'll
great.
send it to you.
Yeah.
So like, and my
You
wife
can use Logan 20 for 20% off.
Okay.
I got
Is
you,
that
Jesse.
actually true or
I got
no?
you, Jesse. Yes,
Did he
yes.
give you a code?
But I won't I go through the calendar. She thinks I'm crazy. Like she's like, she won't even look at her calendar. Whatever. Just tell me what I got to do. But
Yeah.
no, I mean that's why it works.
Do you think you could commentate for the UFC if the roles were reversed?
I don't know because I don't. Could I do it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could I be good at it? I'm not sure.
Why?
It's not storyline driven. It's not episodic television. The finishes aren't predetermined. It's a fight, right? And you've got to know all that stuff. I think my job is much more difficult only because I have to weave in the stories and the characters' development. I'm not just calling a fight.
It's creative.
I
not
would agree.
tactical.
Yeah.
I
But
would
now-
totally agree.
The real aspect of it is, better than anybody, is what the misconception of people thinking that, okay, it's rigged. It's rigged's the wrong word. It's scripted. The finish we know, and they go through what they're going to do in the match. People misconstrue that to not think it's physical. You athletes are the most listen. I had a little run back when I was a heel where I actually got in the ring. Terrible what I did, but I took bumps, right?
Couldn't have been worse than mine.
Dude. But watch WrestleMania in 2011 when I had my match with Jerry.
Did you? I was in there. I did horrible. I took a kick.
Terrible, worst match ever. But I got my tooth knocked out, two teeth. Knocked
Oh,
out
actually?
that day. Yeah. CM Punk during the day as I was going over my match with Jerry because he's a friend of mine. He just decided to run across the ring and give me a knee lift. Well, dummy me didn't move out of the way, knocked my tooth out. Then in the match, Jerry hit me with a drop kick that knocked my other tooth out. So I understand how difficult, but like, and that's just taking some simple bumps. Like, I don't know how people that think, like, look at what Kevin Owens did last night.
Dude, he came out of Gorilla. I don't even know if he was like fully conscious.
Dude.
This big, bleeding on 4 sides of I'm looking at Kevin. I go, my only thought was, way to go, Cody. Fuck this guy.
He
Fuck
picked
him
the guy up and he threw him through a table.
That was
and the guy
insane.
it turned inside. It was
everybody's telling me they're like those are blood packets, right? Surely I'm like,
no,
I don't think so, man.
And then JD McDonough on Raw last week.
Oh no,
I thought he was dead. I really did.
Michael, tell me about that.
He came off that ring and he hit the desk so hard it moved our desk back. I seriously thought he was dead. And then come to find out later, he had a punctured. Didn't he really hit his head? He had broken ribs and a punctured lung. And he went on and finished the match another 10 minutes.
Insane.
So this is the craziest part about wrestling.
Because didn't that happen to you? You got hurt in the match, right?
I pulled my MCL mid-match. And
that was on the lariat, right?
No.
Okay.
This was in my 3rd match against Roman.
Right. I remember it.
Like I'm in the main event. I got to show up.
Right.
Also, like I got Roman Reigns across me. God damn.
It wasn't even one of the big moves.
No. It was on some stupid shit.
Oh, okay.
I'm much more focused on my mechanics now than I have been before, and also I'm gonna protect myself more because like sometimes like guys are stiff. They're not really looking out for you. I haven't wrestled with him yet.
Oh, good
really?
luck.
Oh my god.
Good luck.
Nah. So I'm gonna protect myself a little more. But if you're actually injured, you gotta not sell that you're injured unless it's part of the story. And then if you are injured, you should sell if you got hit in a certain like you have to do the opposite of what's true. And for a guy like JD who, broke his ribs and punctured his lung, you're looking at 10 more minutes of match in your head. And you're
he
like,
did it. How tough is that guy?
How the fuck am I gonna do this?
Right.
It's got to be all mostly adrenaline at that point.
Well, you look at other sports, a guy, what'd you do? What'd you say you did with the injury?
I tore my MCL.
Okay. So when a guy does that in the football field, he's out of the game. He's gone. Goodbye.
Out of the game.
You guys have some sort of sick pride that you want to finish these matches when you get hurt.
Sadomasochistic.
It's crazy.
It's not.
It's mad respect.
Yeah.
But
I'll go ahead and speak for my guess is the majority of the roster. It's not so much like pride, and I mean, yes, it is. Maybe like 25% of it, but dude, we're dedicated to the product. We're dedicated to the product. Like,
isn't that amazing,
dude? You can't let this company down. You cannot let this.
But you're
down.
also.
I feel that like fully, and I've been here 3 years. I will not fail on behalf of the WWE.
Well, that and also for yourself. And I think that's why you're successful. And I think that's why the top level guys and girls in our company are successful. Because yes, they won't fail for the WWE, but they also won't fail for themselves.
Yeah, true. Yes.
So, I feel like, listen, I'm not, and I bet you feel the same way I do. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I have failed at very few things in my life.
Well, it must be nice.
Which is why I've gotten to where I am today. No, I really, and I'm not trying to be an asshole about it or have an ego about it, but I've been very successful in everything I've done from college through my news career to here. Now, I've made mistakes. There's been failures along the way, but for the most part, I've been pretty successful because I've got this unbelievable work ethic like you do. Look at the stuff you all do. And that's what drives me. Like, you were talking about this earlier, 28 years, I could be resting on my laurels. I could have retired. I couldn't have signed a new contract if I didn't want to. But every day I feel like, okay, I thought I had a great Rumble. I got to have a good Raw on Monday. And I got to have a great Raw the next week. Because if I don't have a good show, it hurts you guys. It hurts the boys and girls that are in the ring because you guys are drawing money and you guys are trying to establish a product. I have got to be on every single time that I am on.
See, I love that org related sentiment, and it's something that in our world we don't feel. We're our own bosses,
right?
I mean, until WWE, it was the same for him. It's like, dude, if I want to do this, I'm going to do this. If I want to take a risk in this direction and it fucking fails, who cares? Like, it doesn't. I haven't felt that mentality in a long time, and I'm jealous. I'm actually
sick,
super envious of it.
I tell people, I'm like, dude, I love having a job.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
love
yeah,
working
yeah.
for the WWE.
We're a family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
dude,
so
it's-
sick.
We're a family. You see it at ringside, and you've gotten.
Bro.
So I've really watched the maturation of you over the last few years, and how comfortable you've gotten with us. You know, like in the beginning, it was like, you know, we didn't. I don't, especially me. Like I didn't know how to act toward Logan Paul. I don't think Logan Paul know how to act toward us. And now you're part of the family now. And
It certainly feels like it. You know, well, I'm pretty closed off in general. Like, dude, my team is extremely skinny. Like for the output that we do, there's literally like 4 or 5 of us. And I like it that way because, like, in general, I don't like people.
Right.
And then over
join the club.
You know, I just don't. I used
can't
to
relate.
and then now I'm. He loves everyone. Talks to everyone.
Right.
But no, I started to like open up a little more, and it takes some time with me. But I realized like kind of how similar everyone is backstage.
Yep.
And the saying that I feel like fits the vibe like of WWE is we're all here because we're not all there.
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone's a little cuckoo.
Island of misfit toys.
Yes,
is what it is.
And that's what it feels like. Everyone's like witty, just like fucking with each other, like laughing, having fun. And there's a lot of good people in the company.
To see CM Punk having the fun he is today after what he went through 10 years ago is incredible. But like you guys, like your chemistry is what. Is Pat and I chemistry. There's the introvert and there's the extrovert. And that is how it is. Like with McAfee, like I'm like you. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I got to be polite, obviously, but I just want to keep my head down and go do what I got to do.
Yeah.
Pat, holy shit.
And he's like that behind the scenes.
My God.
Bro, I remember when I met him.
He
came up to me.
In
He's like,
person.
"Bro."
He had a 15-minute conversation with a security guard yesterday.
yeah.
I'm like, God, we got to go to Gorilla.
He
We got to
sees
get
it
out
all
in
the time,
ring.
bro. He sees it with me all the time.
Craziness. But listen, we have an unbelievable corporate structure. And Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, Lee Fitting, those 3 men have changed my life. Forever be indebted for them. And it's because of that mentality and because of the trust that they put in all of us is that I would go through a wall for them.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, you really, I mean, Hunter and I have been together since day one. I mean, he gave me a wedgie my first 2 months here on television.
That's
right?
how ours started. Too.
Right. And we've been together forever. And he you know, Paul and I professionally, I mean, it's just an unbelievable relationship. He trusts me. I trust him. Nick, as you know, is just an incredible human being. I don't know if you've had much interaction with Lee yet, but Lee is
a little bit. Yeah.
Lee's a genius.
He gave me some nice. He gave me some nice compliments yesterday.
Yeah.
No, we can see it in the product. It's cool. I think the company now is a little, from what I hear, more receptive to the ideas that the talent has.
Oh my God, dude, it's so different. Like for the most part, our talent are given bullet points for their promos, and they're not really scripted much anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain things you all have to hit because the storylines, right? But so they're able to be themselves. Who knows the character more than you guys, right?
Yeah.
That's really important. Putting together matches is now become Paul, the producers, and the talent.
Yeah.
When before it was Vince, right?
Yeah.
That was, you know, so it's really helped the product, and people are having fun, dude. Everyone, you see the locker room now. People are having a blast
because of themselves.
Yes.
And I think it's even more important nowadays too, as there is some breakout from the silo that is the WWE being the only platform. People have their own platforms.
Yeah.
So if he's going to go out and tell a story, and then he's going to go and put that on his channels with 25, 30 million followers in his channels, of course he wants the story to be creatively aligned with what he wants it to be, to an extent at least, right? So it seems like in that respect, even the WWE is making all the right plays.
Well, and the company was so restrictive for so many years, like, you know, our talent wouldn't be able to go out, and, you know, we had a big controversy over the Twitch streams a few years ago. And, you know, but now everything's open up. Go be a brand. The big thing about our company, the big thing about our company is we want you as a performer to develop your brand. We, in fact, have people in place in our offices that are helping our talent, especially the younger talent, help them grow their brand.
I feel like I should be on that team.
You probably should. I'm trying to get McAfee to get on that team too. I think you guys are,
dude. I'm definitely gonna
unbelievable examples of people that have just created something like out of thin air. Really, really. I mean, the stuff that you've created to me. And I'll admit again, I'm learning. Right, I'm learning over the years of all what you all do, and I didn't know Logan Paul at all a few years ago. When you came to the company, obviously, I had to learn more about you. And the more I read, and it's like I'm just completely blown away with what you've created. And the same thing with Pat. I mean, you know, as an NFL punter, like we always knew he was entertaining, especially when he was a player. But to create what he's created, and
he's incredible.
It's craziness. And like I have so much respect for that. Like I'm a lifer. I'm a WWE lifer.
I appreciate the kind words. Seriously. I want to say one thing about the JD spot. Perhaps you could help me understand why he did that.
I have no idea. I texted him the other day. I said, dude, what are you thinking?
Yeah, why did he do that? I texted my match producer, Shane.
Yep.
My guy.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And
Hurricane.
Yep. You know, we were talking about it, and I was like, Shane, like, this wouldn't have even made it past, like, the ideation phase. Like with the distance, but that distance and then the table right there.
They probably just called it in the ring. That's probably what they did. Crazy. He's insane. We make fun of him all the time because he's got a big head and stuff. He is one of the nicest guys on the planet. He's a hard worker. Very respectful. I love JD. I've loved him since he was back, you know, in the NXT UK days, and Jordan Devlin, and just a really cool dude. We have so many great people.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
Yeah, dude. It's sick company to work for, dude.
It really is.
You don't always know why shit happens. Look at the Doncic AD trade last night. Did you see that?
Oh my God.
Who knows?
We were
Who knows what people are thinking?
I
half
actually
the time.
screamed, "Holy shit!"
No, it's insane.
Wade's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Doncic just went to freaking
insane.
The Lakers. Like,
Insane.
I heard a lot about that.
What was going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, I was reading a lot about that
100%.
today. Yeah, not being in shape.
Prime sponsors the Lakers, so
there you go.
No, bro, it's a big deal.
And by the way, like the Prime logo on the mat,
crazy.
And now all the logos we've got on the mat, like this would have never happened. We always, I understood Vince's perspective that that was sacred.
Yeah.
But it's 2025.
You know where it makes it a little difficult for talent, especially if talent is trying to build their brand.
Yep.
The last thing you want in your really cool move pose, like is or you with the title is a brand.
Yeah, but
is a brand.
Yeah, but when Logan Paul is in the ring and this is brand.
For me it's fantastic. For me
it's just got to be the right brands too. Like I would want to get my head smashed in over a Wingstop logo. Are you serious? That's amazing, dude. That's all we talked about for the rest of the night last night. He wanted to go to Wingstop.
You were talking about the branding thing though, right? Like it's funny. Like I'm sort of developing my own brand. Like. And I'm not even working on it.
Is it a competitive hydration product?
No. Not at all.
If it was.
There are a lot of things I've thought about, but no, that would be great, right? And by the way, I'm going to have my new Michael Cole drink on the thing. No, it's just funny how it just starts to evolve, right? Like I never thought in those terms until I started working with Pat. And Pat's like, you're missing out on so much stuff, dude.
All the talent are. All the talent are. Everyone should be thinking about how to not just build yourself, but how to build businesses. Long-lasting businesses that have impact. It's the next level of conversation, and use the vehicle you've been given. I think every talent in the WWE should be thinking like that.
Yeah.
And it would be cool to be on that team to potentially
you have to do that.
Help build
you
it.
Have to do that.
It's pretty. I see it pretty clearly for some of the folks in there.
I mean, there's a lot that could really be building off on that.
One last question for me: if there's a future Don Imus, Mike and the Mad Dog. I know I'm hitting you in this sweet spot right now, watching this right now. Future commentator for the WWE. How could they potentially break through into the space in a time where it's very noisy out there? Do you have any advice?
Are you just talking about wrestling, or are you talking about
just in general? I mean, like if they want to get into the funnel.
It's hard. It's much harder than it was. When I went to college in the mid '80s, I went to Syracuse, which is a hotbed for sports broadcasters.
Yeah.
And luckily at the time, there was 4 television stations and a couple cable TV stations, and there was no social media. So there weren't a lot of jobs then. So I was pretty privileged to get. I was the youngest announcer ever hired by network radio when I got out of school, and so I was lucky. But now there's so much programming out there that if you want to be a broadcaster, you can get in, go to school for it, work on it, get in at a small level, and just build yourself. You can only do it through reps, as you know.
Okay, but also how much of it is like the voice? Because you're very listenable.
There's a lot. I did voice training in school and stuff like that. But
you have the radio.
You have the voice.
You listen to Tessitore. He's an unbelievable voice. that has a ton to do with it.
It does.
You don't
right?
hear a lot of high pitched, squeaky
No,
people
dude.
doing.
No. It's
Wade
more-
Barrett's got that nice English
Yeah,
baritone
yeah,
that
yeah,
just
yeah.
sticks out. Pat, it's Pat, and it's just that has a lot to do with it.
It
But
does.
it's experience more than anything else. It's just going out there and being able to do. I got lucky that I hit news radio at the time when that was, if you wanted to be a serious journalist, you went to news radio at the time.
Yeah.
And that's and I got lucky and I got to cover some unbelievable things that really helped shape my life. And then coming into wrestling, I at least had a broadcasting background. And I had done some sports too. I just had to learn this product. But I was ahead of the game when I got here, which is good.
How much more you got in your contract? Can you say?
Yeah, 8 years.
Amazing.
All right. Well, hopefully we ride out these next 8 years together, Michael.
I do. Well, hope you're going to be here that long. We need you.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. I love it. As long as they'll have me, and as long as the fans keep booing.
Yeah, what?
Stick
Listen,
around.
I'll be honest, Logan. And just time to, pat you on the back a little bit. First off, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of
I never
course.
thought in a million years when I told my kids I was doing your podcast, they were like, "You? You're an old man." I said,
No.
"Yeah," but I said, "I am so excited. You don't understand how excited I am to do
man.
this." But like when you first came aboard, and again, I didn't know much about you.
Sure.
I learned so much over the years. I was like, here's another celebrity guy going to come in, going to do a match,
Bad
whatever.
Bunny.
Roll my eyes at it. Yeah,
Like Bad Bunny.
he did well though.
Yeah, he did well. He's good.
But then you just I've never and I was impressed when Pat had his matches. Like
His match
freaking
was he's
incredible.
an athlete.
My God,
I
he is.
was
He
too.
is.
I was like, damn.
I have never, and I'm not just blowing smoke here. In the 28 years I've been in this business, I have seen all-time greats, Hall of Famers. John Cena, one of my great friends, and I believe the greatest of all time because of longevity and how long he's been on top. For me, though, Logan, I've never seen anyone come into this business, and I know you said you wrestled your whole life and everything. This is different, and I've never seen anybody come in and do what you've done in such a short period of time. It is absolutely amazing to me, and I'm not just saying that because I'm on your show, and I've said it on the air. It's just I've never seen someone take to this. Not only the skills in the ring, but I'm talking about promos and the way that you manipulate the crowd and just that personality and that R. It's different, and I've never seen anybody come into this business with that ever before.
And I'm only getting better. Thank you. That makes me feel a way I can't even describe because emotions are a little weird for me.
They are for me too, but I'm starting to get a little more emotional as I get older, I think.
Yeah.
It's easier when you say something that is extremely objective and factual.
Well,
it
and
just it changes the dynamic of the
and I
conversation.
mean it. I seriously mean it about you. Like I did not know what to expect working with Logan Paul. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody did.
Yeah.
You are completely different than I thought you were going to be. Intelligent. It's
Thank you.
unbelievable.
Thank you.
But the emotion is, as I get older, I think I get more emotional, and obviously with children,
Yep.
it's a very important thing. But I think that's the other thing over the last few years of how I have gotten better at my craft is allowing myself to be emotional. Like Cody Rhodes, for instance. Cody and I've known Cody since he was a kid.
Yeah.
And been through all the trials and tribulations with that guy. And when he won at Mania last year, like I legitimately cried. Like it was because of what he's gone through, right? I know when John has his last match, because of what I went through with him, it's going to be a very emotional moment. But I think that helps me with the audience because it's like, this guy's real. Like, this isn't fake shit. This isn't scripted. This is Michael Cole loving not only a product, but people that he's known for his whole life. And you want them to be successful. And I hope that I'm able to call, the highlights of your career, because I would love to develop that relationship with you where I'm able to be emotional about you winning your first world championship, which will happen, and stuff like you're winning a Royal Rumble, you winning Money in the Bank. I'd like to be emotional about that. And hopefully this is our first step on that road together to be able to do that.
Well, I mean, inshallah, God willing. How are you getting to Cleveland?
McAfee's got a private jet.
Why don't you come on ours instead?
But I'm doing his show tomorrow.
Damn.
They're flying there today.
Yeah, I know. That's I heard. But yeah, I'm doing.
What jet is it?
I don't know what he's got.
Well, we got a G5, so
you know,
it's a little
Pat,
bigger.
I gotta call you. Maybe I don't do your show tomorrow.
I hope he has a G6. That would make me so happy, dude.
No way. No way.
But do you know what you're doing tomorrow?
I don't know what I'm doing yet. But I know we're going to Cleveland, which is where I'm from.
Yeah.
I'm from Cleveland.
Yeah, they really loved you when you came out at SummerSlam.
Man, honestly, what the fuck?
That was so funny.
What? But show some respect.
This has been fun, guys. Really, I never thought in a million years I'd be on a show.
Dude, this was awesome.
Thank you,
Just
guys.
as rich as I thought it would be. Michael, truly, thank you so
you, guys.
much. Keep doing good work. And yeah, man, let's
Good
write
work.
out these great work.
Okay, I'm gonna
Great,
say, come on.
stupendous, stellar, magnificent work. Michael Cole, ladies and
Thank you,
gentlemen.
guys. Thank you.
Wow.
New Payless Instant Mommy Beef Pares. May rich, beefy